Hi, everyone. Tony from Hack the Movies here, and they're doing another Fantastic Four movie. So we decided, let's watch the four previous Fantastic Four movies, and we're going to find out what is the worst Fantastic Four movie so far. Today on Hack the Movies. Hello, Mint Salad. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, famous friend?
Well, it's a little rough, but I'll get to that in a second. But first, I have to introduce Riley. Am I allowed to call you Riley this time?
I'd prefer Clippa.
Clippa?
Personally, yeah.
Okay, because last time you were here, you had amnesia, and we had to call you...
I don't even remember that,
You don't
Tony.
remember being Wolveriley?
I've been on this show before?
Yeah, you have, and I was trying to think of more names for you in case we had to use an alias. It was like Mr. Cliptastic. That was one of them.
Mr. Cliptastic.
Yes, and I was thinking, how do I mix your name with Reed Richards? And I thought Riley Reed would be a good name for you.
Riley Reed. That's what you came up with.
Yeah, I came up with Riley Reed. That's a good name, right?
Yeah.
That would have worked really well, but I don't have to do that because you're a free man, and we don't have to do a gimmick.
No gimmicks here.
Congrats.
This isn't a gimmick. Calling myself Clippa and dressing like this, not a gimmick.
Not a gimmick. Not a gimmick. Dressing up like Wolverine, gimmick. I'm a little sad. Obviously, there's four movies, four people in the Fantastic Four. There was supposed to be a fourth person.
Member of our team today.
Yes. Joey C., when he found out that we were going to wear costumes, we were all going to get Fantastic Four out, he got very, very excited.
He said he wanted to try them.
Yes, he went to make his own costume, and he wanted to be the Human Torch.
Yep.
Which he kept calling the Flamer, and I was like, that's not his name, Joey C. Why do you keep saying that? He got a little carried away, and he lit himself on fire.
Sounds like he'll need a lot of aloe for that.
Yes, he is currently drenching himself in aloe. He's bandaged up, so maybe we can cut to him later, and he'll let us know what he thinks. But unfortunately, we don't have our fourth member.
Yeah.
Also, me and Riley couldn't figure out which one of us was the Thing, even though I thought it was real obvious who should be the Thing.
The one not dating an invisible woman, which we all agree is really obvious. That one should be the Thing.
Fuck, he got me there.
I was gonna take,
you know what?
I was gonna take white paint and just pour it on the side of my head because I couldn't find any other like hair dye. So it's out of season.
So we're both Mr. Fantastic.
I have his hair cut under the beanie with the dye and everything.
God damn it!
You're just Ben with the Cure. You're the Thing with a cure.
I'm the cured.
You're
Ben.
a man version
I'm
of the thing. You're like the man Thing.
I thought like Mr. Hacktastic would have been
Mr.
funny,
Hacktastic.
but no, I'm the hack apparently.
Movies, Richards,
and you're the mint visible woman.
That's the only one that works. That's actually a pun.
Yeah,
that's true.
Mint visible girl. Mint visible girl.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm glad you wanted to get into character. You showed up yesterday blonde.
Yes.
And now you have gray hair. Did you go to a salon earlier?
Yeah, I literally, earlier today, went to a salon. I was like, hey, bleach my roots because they were brunette. And my hair was very yellow. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, okay, here you go. Let's bleach it. And usually when they bleach it, it's just pure white. Yeah. But it's...
Well, blonde. It gets blonde.
Yeah, it gets blonde and then turns like yellow blonde.
Yeah.
But then they decided to add gray to it instead of regular blonde.
Here's what I think.
It's like silver now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, me and Riley weren't there. We would have stopped this. I feel like you must have said, make me look like Storm from Marvel Comics. But you didn't say Sue Storm. So
yeah,
they
that
assumed
the lady.
They looked up the X-Men and they went, oh, she wants silver gray hair. And then they probably were like, I don't think she should be playing Storm from X-Men. I feel like that's problematic. They didn't say that out loud.
We're lucky she didn't come back with a mohawk. Because JDA would complain about that.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, they look up Storm. For whatever reason, the first picture is Mohawk Storm. We're like, that's what she was.
That's what she asked for.
She said Storm from Marvel. But anyway.
I just hit the shit out of this mic arm.
We're good. We're good. Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
I like the Fantastic Four. I really enjoy them. They've always been a little bit corny, but I like that.
Yes.
I think there was a time where I didn't like them, but I think that's so my generation. This might shock you. I'm a little older than you guys.
Just a couple decades.
Fuck you. Not that much older, you asshole. Yeah, so we grew up on like the Marvel cartoons. They were airing. I mean, there were cartoons before that, but they were very few and far between, and they weren't great.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four cartoon series was not one of the good ones. It wasn't X-Men. It wasn't Spider-Man. I actually liked the UPN Hulk cartoon, and I loved Silver Surfer. So
Silver Surfer's good.
Silver Surfer cartoon was great. It was separate. It wasn't like its own thing. But when I started, like in the early 2000s, when I started reading comics more, I got a little bit more into the Fantastic Four, and I really, really liked the team. They're very fun. They were at one point like the biggest thing of Marvel. Like people don't realize. Everyone knows
They're the first family, fam.
Yeah, everyone knows Spider-Man's first appearance, right?
Yeah. Everybody. Mint. What's Spider-Man's first appearance?
Amazing, fantastical, the spidery boyest issue ever possible. #1.
No,
That's closer than Eric got.
she got like one word right. Amazing Fantasy 15.
That's what I said, right?
No, what you said was unintelligible, and I won't.
In a way,
entertain
it is that's what it was.
I thought that's
did
what you were
say.
going for, and then you mid-salad it and went in a whole different direction, and I'm not even going to entertain it. Amazing Fantasy 15 was the first appearance of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man #1 was a whole issue with him with the Fantastic Four. That's how big they were. They were using them to introduce new characters and shit.
Well, that's a big problem that I have with the way that all the movies had to be made, is that there's no other characters.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the Fantastic Four works in a vacuum. I think they work in a universe full of characters.
As much as I like reading like their solo stories and enjoying their solo cartoons,
then, you have to have Kang appear. You have to have Silver Surfer or Namor. You have to have other characters.
Yeah, Namor without the Fantastic Four is rough. Throwing Namor in Lady Black Panther was dumb.
He's like Peruvian now or something.
Yeah, I want to see, as much as people wanted a Hulk versus Wolverine, which we barely got. We got like the start of the fight. I want a Thing versus Hulk, like bad. I love when those two fight. But yeah,
I can see that.
Really, really fun team. What are your general thoughts on the Fantastic Four?
I like the early instances of the family dynamic, and I really feel like that makes or breaks the franchise. If we didn't have that, then who would care?
Yeah.
Like, before that point, there wasn't really much family focus in the comics.
Right.
scene.
You have a pretty clear evolution through comics.
Yeah.
They go like, here's a power fantasy for little boys. Now it's a power fantasy for adult men. Well, now you need a little kid in there, so let's introduce Robin so it can be for kids again. And then, there is this like lineage throughout the 30s and 40s that leads you to this like, well, let's just fucking make a comic for all ages.
Yeah.
And a family sells that. Right?
Yeah, and it works really, really well. It's had some amazing...
And Mint doesn't have a family to like, so when she reads them, it's like a vicarious enjoyment of the thing everybody else got to have.
I'm like, man, this is what everybody else is
Like, she had
dealing
two
with?
That's right, Mint. Me and my family, I can't count how many times we went to outer space and fought the Skrulls. It happened all the time. I'm sad you didn't get to experience
Tony, she's had her family rebooted too, a couple times.
How many? What's had more reboots, the Fantastic Four movies or your family unit?
I think the Fantastic Four, actually.
Okay.
Only by two, though.
Only by two.
Okay. So, okay. You're getting there.
It's got a lead up on my family.
So, I love them, obviously.
Yeah.
My experience with them is liking them. I'm a big fan of, like you said, the cornball stuff.
Yeah.
Sort of like I think that Reed Richards would be, a dad joker. Like he would make dad jokes. Like he would be kind of cringe. I believe it when the Thing says it's clobbering time because like he would do that. He's not too cool for that.
Remember that? Do you ever hear of the Thing cartoon they made?
No.
Like in the 70s or something?
I don't know.
There was a cartoon about just the Thing, but it wasn't really the Thing. It was about a boy who had a magic ring that could turn him into the Thing.
That defeats the purpose of the Thing.
He would put the ring on and go, "Thing ring, do your thing," and he would turn into the
Are you fucking
Thing.
kidding?
No, I'm not making this up.
Thing ring, do your thing.
Thing ring, do your thing.
Roll the clip.
Thing ring, do your thing.
There it is.
Wow, I can't believe that
It's like
exists.
some cartoon. I guess whoever was like owned it at that time, they're like, kids only really like the Thing. They don't care about the other three. Let's make a show where a kid turns into the Thing.
That's as crazy as replacing Johnny Storm with in that other cartoon with the robot. Remember?
Oh yeah, that is.
And that's why we have that robot now.
The rumor was they thought kids would
Kids are
like
gonna
light themselves on fire.
And only Joey C does that.
Yo,
Kids
you know
don't
what?
do that.
You know what? They were right. It turns out they were right.
We need a robot.
I should have only shown Joey C that cartoon.
Just so he didn't get any ideas. He
He'd
could have
be
played a
safe
robot now. Yeah.
He had never seen anyone on fire before these movies. He watched these movies. And
Said
he's
that
like,
doesn't look painful. That's what he said.
He's like, well, clearly he's okay. I'll be fine.
You know, he should have emulated The Thing instead of
Emulating.
Oh,
No, he
emulated?
did emulate. It's one of the problems, mate.
what am I thinking? He should have copied The Thing.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, wait, you could have saved him if you weren't squabbling about who's the thing. You could have said, Joey, you're the thing. But now Joey's hurt.
yeah. Well,
That's
You
a
said-
really like not.
I feel.
thing.
You know what? I feel more like Reed Richards
I mean,
now.
he's buff, but he's not like big.
Riley,
Like this.
I
Why are you
feel
talking
more
shit
like
about Joey?
I'm not.
Riley. I feel more like Reed Richards because I got my friend horribly mutilated.
Oh yeah, that is very Reed Richards quoted.
That's gonna be the in the poll. Who's more like Reed Richards, me or Riley? Let us know.
I'm too smart for my wife, so I ignore her. Just so you guys know.
That's a good Reed Richards thing, actually. Now, if you had a wife, you could compete.
Thank you for reminding
Jesus.
me where I am in life.
The low
man.
swings from this lady.
You know, anyone else, it wouldn't hurt. But you're the only woman on the show I give compliments. So when you insult me, it hurts even more, Mint.
My apologies.
I feel tortured.
Like The Thing.
I know. Now I feel like the thing because I can never find true love. Maybe there's a blind woman out there for me. I don't know.
I'll start looking.
Thank you.
For you.
Thank you. So yes,
My friend Tony looks just like Reed Richards. Okay.
which one? So Marvel Comics, years I think in like the 70s or whatever, they were just selling off properties like film rights, TV rights. The most popular one was the Hulk, although they did do the Spider-Man show. There is a Doctor
Which gave us Power Rangers.
Yes, there is a Doctor Strange. That's the other Spider-Man show. There was an American live-action Spider-Man and a Japanese one.
Oh.
What was I about to say? There was a Doctor Strange TV movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And which is funny because the grandmother from Arrested Development was the bad guy in it.
Okay.
And when you get to Arrested Development season 4, they make a bunch of jokes about the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. And then she's dressed up like a bad guy in the Fantastic Four play. Anyway.
Okay.
So yeah,
This is around the time of the Captain America one too, right?
not the 1991.
Okay.
But there were 70s made for TV Captain Americas
Yeah.
with Red Brown, which are not good. Yeah, so they were just selling off whatever. Somehow, I think Roger Corman got the Fantastic Four.
Big property.
He was holding on to it. Now, the rumor years ago, and actually, well, let's start with, we're just going to get into it. Let's start with the Roger Corman unreleased Fantastic Four. This is my original bootleg that I got at my first ever Monster Mania. I heard about this movie online. I used to be a big fan of the website, The Agony Booth, which would just review like really bad movies and TV shows. And it gets its name from a Star Trek episode, I think. You would know, right? Is there something called The Agony Booth in Star Trek?
Not in
yet.
the original series or the animated series.
That's where we're at right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't done the motion picture yet. Before
I don't
this
think it's
comes
a
out.
motion picture. Yeah, so I used to be on this website all the time. I think it's gone away. And if it's around, it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I went to the convention, I saw they had this. I'm like, I need this. Now, there's a backstory on here that we have learned since then is not entirely true.
Well, Mint's gonna have to read it for us.
Yeah, I was gonna have her read the next one.
Oh,
I was gonna go in order.
Did you do a whole thing? You brought a bunch of cases for us to read.
Yeah, I'm gonna read
It's
this
funnier
one.
when she reads them.
I know she's got the next one to read.
I don't want to read any of them.
You're reading
She
the
can read
Silver
mine.
Surfer one, you asshole.
Wait, there's 4 movies, but wait, there's
3 cases.
Yeah.
You're dropping the ball here.
I printed out the 4th case. I don't own 2015, you idiot. Anyway, so here is the story people grew up with on this movie. Back in the early 90s, low-budget schlock horror supremo Roger Corman, who made Carnosaur, had somehow acquired the movie rights to the Fantastic Four movie license. It's entirely possible he bought them cheaply when there was no market for superhero movies, which, yes, in the mid-'80s, and Marvel were in need of a quick buck. However, in 1994, he ran into a problem. If he didn't do something with his Fantastic Four rights, they would lapse and be open to cheap repossession by another studio, with Corman seeing none of the profit. So to counter this, he stumped up a whopping $1.5 million and put one into production, then canned it and never released it from that day, and it was destined never to see the light of a commercial release. Some say it was never released because it was so bad, but Marvel guru Stan Lee has subsequently revealed that, unbeknownst to the cast and crew, Corman never intended to release the film commercially. It was merely a shrewd money license saving scam. Doesn't tell you anything about the actual movie. I like that. We've learned from the Doomed documentary that's not 100% true. It turns out Constantine Films, which did produce the other ones, this was like a long con by them. If watch the Doom documentary, Roger Corman, people think he didn't even know they were going to shelve it. It was definitely this.
Well, AV-A-RAD had plans.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So and we've seen them come to fruition.
So, by the way, it was almost a trauma movie made by my good friend Lloyd Kaufman. The great Lloyd Kaufman. But
Mint doesn't like all of his movies for some reason.
Huh?
Mint doesn't like all of the movies.
I'm trying
for
to think.
reason.
There's two that I've seen.
No,
Poltergeist. Is that
you should
trauma?
like them.
Poltergeist was trauma.
You should like them.
And
it's
Surf
weird that you don't.
Mozzies Must
He
Die.
only distributed that. He didn't make that one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although that is my favorite one of trauma.
Recommend trauma movies for Mint in the comments.
I don't
Toxic
like
Avenger.
Poltergeist.
You didn't like Poltergeist?
Especially
That's
what
fine.
ruined
That's
it.
not. Well, you know, Mint, I did my favorite trauma movies episode, and that actually wasn't on my list. Do the Toxic Avengers. They're fun.
Cool.
You might like the Toxic Avengers. But no, a trauma Fantastic Four.
Sounds great. Body horror like a motherfucker, you know?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It would
like
have been
Reed would have gotten stuck in the elevator going up it with his like head on the outside of it, like in a Final
would have
Destination
been a
movie.
very entertaining
Would've
movie,
been great.
but I guess if you're a comic book fan, I don't think you would have been thrilled with it. Yeah, so then I went to Roger Corman. So yeah, the long story short is like Constantine co-produces with Roger Corman and then took it away. They never intended to release. I think having a completed film gave them some kind of leverage.
Well, it is important to understand that the cast intended to film and release.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So many
they
people
thought they did make a movie.
Maybe Roger Corman knew, maybe he didn't. From the documentary, and he could be lying. He's got a very charming voice. I believe anything he'd say.
I'd lie if I was him.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like only a few top people knew this wouldn't make the light today. So everyone on the most limited budget is trying as hard as they can on this movie. So yeah, you didn't even know it existed, right?
No.
And then did you know it existed before I told you?
Yeah,
Have
I've
you
heard. I mean, I've seen screenshots from it. Same with like the Captain America movie, the Daredevil in the black suit from the Hulk episode.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen any of that stuff, but I've seen that it exists.
Well, this is harder. Well, now it's actually easy to see because they threw it in a vault somewhere and everyone's pretending they don't own it. So it's just on YouTube for free. Hopefully they remaster it one day. So as a Fantastic Four fan who knew about this movie, what did you think of it, Riley?
I thought very, very, very little of it at first.
Yes.
I couldn't even believe you were asking me to watch it.
Okay.
I didn't take it seriously when you asked me to.
Movie starts off a little rough. We learn about a cosmic cloud coming to Earth called Colossus, which is similar to the original story. They're like investigating a cloud, right? And
they go look for the thing that's out there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And in this version, Reed and Victor are schoolmates. They go to college together. And they want to make this whole contraption to harness the energy of the cloud.
We're great so far. Good.
Yes,
I'm like,
great
okay,
so far,
wow,
great
this
so
is
far.
starting off well.
But I guess Reed and Ben at one point lived at whatever
at an orphanage,
Mrs. Storm's like house for orphans or whatever. So they go to visit and they see Mrs. Storm has her own 2 kids, little Johnny and Sue Storm.
Little Susan Storm. Huh?
What did you think of this scene?
First of all, I have to mention that Ben and Reed are the same age, and I think Sue and Johnny are like 10 years younger.
Yes, that's the thing that we're talking about.
Yeah, and I just had to make it very specific. They look like they're 8 years old.
I texted Tony and I went, "Hey, this wouldn't be made anymore. Wow, this is
So
grooming."
what you're saying is she's 18 later on in the movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
I
totally
think she's
fine.
18 later in the movie, Tony.
having it show that she's like 8 and then like 3 scenes later show that she's 18.
That's not even the disturbing part.
Yeah, no,
Huge whiplash.
The
disturbing
disturbing part is that she spent her whole life knowing Reed, and Reed has always had a 10-year gap and has known
looking
her.
up to
Has
no, but
known
that's
her.
not even Tony. The thing that made me feel it in my gut was when he picked up Johnny above his head and was like, "Oh, Johnny!"
Sorry.
Stand.
You're the only one to hit it. I moved it so people would stop hitting it.
I move a lot. Okay, I'm like
you know what?
I'm
You
like
know,
Dr. Doom.
I was about to say, like, yeah, okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that one.
But so he lifts Johnny up like I've lifted little children,
Yeah.
friends of family members,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's not. You can't have sex with his sister later. That's not okay.
it is. It's not even like. I'm sure
It's his like little sister.
I'm sure there's been like scenarios where someone was at a party, there was a big age gap, but they didn't associate
Tony, more
with them.
people groomed than didn't groom until the internet. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I get that.
But no, it is weirder that like he's known them and then there's a relationship later. I'm like, oh, I don't like that.
why'd they have to be so young? Like they
I
could all
don't
be
know.
orphans at the same time.
Sue Storm,
Still,
young Sue Storm is the Girl Scout in Addams Family 1, and she's the bitchy girl in Addams Family 2, the one that Wendy is constantly feuding, or Wednesday is confusing. The one that Wednesday is feuding with in Addams Family Values.
nailed it. One
I
take.
see it.
Yep.
I see it.
So that part is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Thank God they age up in the next scene. I kind of forgot about that. But yeah, Victor gets horribly scarred by the experiment, and
Yep.
he's
thought dead, right?
But really, his Latvian people just take him back to Latveria. And one of his like dudes is a henchman in some other bad direct-to-video 90s movie, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I always thought that part with like Victor being thought as dead. I was like, you couldn't just like go check Reed. You're just like,
Well, he asked the doctors, and the doctors lied. So
well, you
remember,
should be
this is the
smart enough
movie
to
where, like-
not trust them.
yeah,
Well, maybe, but they're not. You'll see later. They're not smart enough to not trust
Yeah.
anyone who says, "Hey, I work for the government."
yeah, they're kind of idiots in this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, then 10 years later, they decide they're gonna build their thing. They're gonna make a spaceship to
And
fly
they do.
to the
They
cloud.
just need a crew now.
And they do it. Well, no, I think they could just do it themselves, but they're like, we got to get little Johnny and Sue, who, based on the interaction they're about to have, they haven't talked to in 10 years.
Right.
But like, we had to get little
Yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
and Sue because they'll be mad if we didn't take them to space. And then when Ben's there, he acts like a little kid.
He acts like he's a little kid talking to a little kid. Oh, is Johnny here? Like,
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like, why are you talking to them?
I
like
think that's
that?
the joke, is that he's
Yeah.
like doing a child affect
Yeah.
because, we haven't seen you in so long or whatever.
Who goes to people you haven't seen in 10 years and be like, hey, do you want to go to space with me? And like for no reason.
You got to imagine maybe like Mrs. Storm was really supportive of their science endeavors
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like giving it back to the family
Yeah.
that helped raise them. It's a family movie.
But yeah, he just.
But they could have been 17 earlier, and they could all be in their 30s now.
And they like know about the project, I guess,
Yeah.
because I guess he used to work on it when he was there. But yeah, he gets to see Sue again.
And he complains before that they're not qualified.
Yes.
Then he sees Sue and is like, I'm grooming her. Like, I can't not let them come to space.
And Mrs. The Invisible Woman, she played a character on an episode of Seinfeld. I think it was the telethon one. Can't get one past me. Can't get a Seinfeld actor past me. That's not true. I will get comments like, Tony, you failed to mention that this person was in Seinfeld. I'm like, fucker, I can't get them all. You can
Try harder.
Remember, but all right, so we're putting other Fantastic Four characters in this, okay? Because we get to see Alicia Masters, the blind lady.
But she can't see anybody else.
She can't see anyone else. Thank you, man.
Jesus.
She bumps into Ben and she hates him, and that'll be confusing later. You have a problem with Alicia Masters? What's wrong with the Alicia Masters adaptation?
She's never adapted with the Puppet Master. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they left out the puppet.
They have a
master.
B-grade villain that's perfect as an introductory before a Doctor Doom or a Silver Surfer encounter,
Yeah.
right? And they don't use him.
Yeah.
And they always use his fucking daughter, whatever. And she doesn't look like Sue Storm. So if you remember in the comics and in the 90s cartoon, like kind of a big deal was made about the fact that Ben like wanted to be with Susan. As much as like Doctor Doom is wanting to be with Susan in the 2004s or whatever. It was like Ben had a crush on Sue Storm and thought that Reed was neglecting her. And then he comes across a blind, like identical lookalike that is transposed for Sue in like a plot to trick the Fantastic Four by the Puppet Master. So
then he just gets his
It's like
replacement suit.
right, it's a huge plot point that they basically look like each other.
Yeah.
And
well,
it's
that'll
never
become
been
that'll
used
become a problem in the next
elsewhere.
adaptation. But
Just means we never got that cool black puppet master. Our dad would have been awesome.
So I guess when they licensed this, they got the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
Doctor Doom, Alicia Masters, and then no one thought, "Hey, should we drum up
villains?
some money for the Mole Man?" And they went, "Oh no, we don't have the Mole Man." So they're like, "Okay, brand new original character, the Jeweler. He lives underground, and he has people underground, and he comes up from the ground to steal jewels." And it's like, well, that sounds like the Mole Man. And believe it or not, this isn't the only movie that renames the Mole Man. We'll get to it in the final one. They just couldn't do the Mole Man on screen. So we have the Jeweler, who just different glasses. That's
Yeah.
it. Other than that, he's basically the Mole Man.
yeah.
He could just be the Mole Man. Riley, what did you think of the Jeweler? We didn't cut out Mint's part.
I don't understand why the Jeweler is not just the Mole Man. Like, you don't even need to have the license to use the Mole Man. Just be like this guy, he acts like the Mole Man, and then just call him like the Mole or something.
Why are we
There's a closer approximation, I'm saying, than the Jeweler that would allow them to get away with it.
I don't know why they felt like we needed two villains.
You kind of do. You need to show them becoming a team because they fought like a low-level threat. Then
but here's the thing:
disrupted.
they actually don't fight the low-level threat, really.
Well, he was kind of
Doctor Doom fights the low-level
Yeah, you're right.
threat.
Then you didn't need him.
Okay, so
You're
then we
right,
learn-
Tony.
so we
Those
lear-
dirty people could have just worked for Victor the whole time.
So yeah, the Jeweler steals a jewel that's meant for the shuttle, which Doctor Doom wanted to steal.
Yep.
But luckily, the Jeweler did it for him. It's the classic story. They go up to space. They get hit by the cloud. They crash. Doctor Doom intercepts them. He gets his men to pretend to be Americans. They do a bunch of tests. We get to see their powers.
Yep.
They eventually learn that they're not in America. They realize
Which I liked the way we got to see their powers compared to some of the other movies.
Yes.
I really like it's just a quick joking like comedy sequence.
It was good. It was good. And then they realize they're trapped. They break out.
Because they were lied to by Doom's people.
Yes.
It wasn't really the government who saves them.
Yes, they become superheroes. I'm like going through the plot here because I want to get to the one thing. So Ben is the one that has trouble with adapting more than all of them. He gets involved with
They
the
got that
jeweler.
right.
Eventually, Doom needs that jewel back because he wants to make a laser beam. So Doom gets rid of the secondary villain. So the heroes don't really do anything with that secondary villain. Basically, it ends up they go back to Latveria on their first ever Fantastic Four mission.
Yep.
They face Doom, they stop the laser, and save the day. Script level. It actually is okay. It's an okay script.
Yeah.
It falls apart in the third act with
It
the
does.
laser doesn't really make sense, and Johnny chasing the laser doesn't make sense.
Lasers are lights. They don't shoot across the world.
Yes, if it was a rocket
Sorry.
or something, it would have made more sense.
It's my
Sorry.
favorite CGI. It's with Johnny intercepting the laser, and
He
he's
did
just
that
like
little
flipping.
flip. Yeah, the little flip.
Yeah.
Roll the
And
clip.
here's the thing. So script wise, I think it's okay. Could have
Yeah.
used a revision, but it was fine.
I liked the blocking. You can tell like the limitations
Okay,
they
yeah.
had that they
Here's
mentioned
the
in the
thing.
documentary.
Where this falls
It
apart
did
is
good.
the limited budget and
Yeah.
execution. But again, they tried their damnedest. So the Thing is a full suit, only one suit. Only
guy.
one suit. They couldn't make more than one.
Yeah.
But it does have an animatronic face like the Ninja
and it was
Turtles.
miserable to be in.
Yes, apparently it was really miserable to be in.
The body just looks like a Ninja Turtle without its shell.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. But the fact that they put the effort into it, they could have
Yeah.
made it look way lazier. The outfits didn't look great. They were hastily sewn.
Now, what kind of a person would wear a hastily thrown together Fantastic Four uniform for like?
Riley, I don't know what you're talking about. Who would wear this? I don't understand.
They couldn't order something a couple weeks ahead of time and just like have somebody make it not the day of because the outfits look made on the day of. So
Ours or theirs? Both?
yeah,
Yeah, one of the funniest things in documentaries where they're talking about like the outfits and they were sewn like last minute. They're all uneven. The belts block the 4 number.
yeah.
I mean, they're more or less the design though. Kind of.
But what is it, like a ludonarrative dissonance? Like when a thing doesn't feel like the thing it is?
Yeah.
The cope they used, well, Sue made them. I bought that completely. I was like, oh, this is not like at all like antithesis to the product. I was like, yeah, she's a scientist, not a seamstress.
Yeah.
Not a seamstress.
The effects.
I don't like them.
They're trying. Again, everyone involved with this, like as we learned through the documentary, they all agree. They're like, this should be a bigger production. It's bigger than anything Roger Corman had done, really.
Sure.
But it should have been a bigger production.
Well, they're traveling around, like talking to people about how big it is, too.
Yeah,
It's like, it feels
they
big
were
to them.
really advertising this shit. But yeah, Reed Richards' stretchy arm is clearly just. It looks like when we did
It's not great.
when we did the AVGN Trespasser, we were making fun of how the video game had a wobbly arm. We literally just had a pool noodle with a fake arm on a stick.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah, that's the arm at the end, 100%. And that's,
It's kind of quaint.
Here, take your own blood.
Okay.
I like it just because it's like they're trying, and they don't have the highest budget. They have like a budget enough for cardboard.
when they're filming it, they're using good shots that have that forced perspective that really work for you.
Yeah.
The actors did a good job. Alex Hyde-White did great as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
For whatever his career was at the time. Like, that was a leading man performance. So, congress to that. Him and Victor. You could tell the guy playing Doom cares.
This was the most unfortunate part. They didn't re-record his lines.
Yeah.
So Dr.
Not only that, they said no, don't record. Like he came to them and he was like, please let us re-record these. They sound awful.
Yeah.
I'll do the whole rant again.
Yeah.
He's like, no. It
We're
sounds
good.
cool in the helmet. Like,
No, it doesn't.
No,
Because we were
it was
watching
just a budget thing, but they couldn't have said that to him. Like, no, this isn't a real movie. Don't worry. They said, no, this sounds great in the helmet.
You may call me Dr. Doom.
So yeah, you're watching the movie and some of it's okay, and then you get to him being like, "Ar, rah, 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 ar, rah, rah," and we're like, what did he just say?
It was a problem with Doom and a problem with Ben because they kept deep.
Sometimes that bass they had.
Yeah, it just made
They did do the effect for Ben, but they wouldn't do it for Doom.
No.
It was unintelligible at times.
Yeah. But to make up for this, you know what? He is a great actor. He's like, oh, they're not going to be able to see my face. I know what I'll do. I will mime and gesture during my whole.
I
will mime my
things
whole performance
like laser.
My favorite is when he goes laser, makes a gun thing with a point. And then when he tells them they have 12 hours, he writes out 12.
12. So I imagine looking at that, right, the way it's shot, he's just standing there, he's giving the speech, but it's so static, right? Because it's just a close-up of his face. You can't see his mouth moving at all. There's no performance. So the next take is can you just talk with your hands a little bit?
Yeah.
But then
we see that in...
But he keeps them in the frame. Think about how tight of a space it would be.
Yeah.
So Doom's sitting here like this, Fantastic Four, I am menacing you. But it's within this box.
Yeah, it's like a tiny frame. It's so
He's not doing this. He's not gesticulating. He's like, I'm keeping them here.
Well, he'll do it when he's around them. The third act, he keeps doing a matador pose.
It's the same one because it makes that clank.
Like he's a dancer or
Sounds
something.
good.
Like he's about to challenge me to a dance off.
2008, Eric. Can you take Doom?
Yeah, so Doom, he looks like Doom. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Good mask.
Great
One
mask.
of the better masks.
Maybe not the rest of the outfit, but it looks like Doom.
Oh, I like the cloth. I like
cloth
the
is fun,
cloth.
yeah.
Actually, my favorite Doom cloth. Of all the outfits we're going to get to tonight, that one, it looks like... So I have a problem with superhero media treating it like they need armor.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't need armor.
Yeah.
So he's just wearing some kind of clothing. He's probably not warm or cold either.
Well, he has armor in the comic.
Superman's
He's,
not
metal.
either. They don't need it though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Superman can wear underwear his mom made.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the joke. He's bulletproof.
Yeah.
So Magneto, same thing. He can do it too. Doom can do it. Everybody can just wear a cloak of cloth.
Yeah. I don't mind him wearing armor though. For his character, kind of makes
He's
sense.
metal.
Yeah.
Why does he need armor if he's metal?
He's
Well, no,
made
he's
of
not.
metal,
in the
man.
comics, he's not made of metal.
He's
in this movie, he's not made of metal. The other two, he's made of metal.
Okay.
So those movies ruined Doom for a lot of people who think he's a robot.
Yes.
And not that he has
sometimes
Doombots.
he is. But no, yeah, so they do the Latveria. It's the most accurate Doom we've gotten so far in a film like format. The weird, there's this weird part in the middle where like the love story between Ben and Alicia is probably the weakest thing in the film. Because it's like they meet and they don't like each other. Yeah. And then she feels his face, I guess. But then he dies, and they send molds of the actor, the guy, so she can make like a statue or something. She's like, oh no, it's that guy I bumped into. And then the jeweler's in love with her for no reason.
Right. Kidnaps her.
Yeah, kidnaps her.
Kidnaps her, but then meets Ben, who's an outcast.
Yep.
Brings
like
him back
walking.
in.
Oh, this is so funny. The shot of him just like in the nature, I guess in this
in
the
LA,
city.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just like walking up to two women.
Yeah, which we learned wasn't
I just want to do the
which we learned wasn't so there were two actors playing the thing. There was Ben and then the actor who was in the suit. This was neither of them. This was like one of the producers.
Yeah, one of the producers.
They threw him in the suit.
Yeah.
They filmed it all on short ends, which is like leftover film. So it's not even like whole reels of film. And they literally were looking for places that had overhead lighting so they couldn't light. So they shot all this in like an afternoon. We also learned that like the Fantastic Four's like area and Reed Richards, Dr. Doom's area were leftover sets from Carnosaur, which had a big lab, which Roger Corman was famous for like, hey, we have this set, the movie's done, film something else there while we have it.
Yeah.
Dress it up a little bit different.
Not a bad way to be.
Yeah.
Famously, he did a movie called The Terror, which had Boris Karloff and Jack Nicholson. Roger Corman's responsible for a lot of early like actors you know now, like their big starts, and Jack Nicholson was one of them. They made a movie called The Terror. It makes absolutely no sense, probably because it was written in like a day. It's completely asinine, and the reason the movie exists is because they shot a different movie on this like Haunted Mansion set.
Yeah.
And they went, do another one, but they were breaking down the set as the movie was going on. So like the shots get a little tighter. There's one part where
the shots get tighter.
Yeah, there's one part where Jack Nicholson and I think it's Dick Miller are having a conversation in front of like a bush. Because that was like one of the last things. Like, we don't have sets anymore. Go over by that bush. So that's the kind of cheapness Roger Corman was. So he's like, yeah, that Carnosaur set, redress it a little bit and throw it in the movie. Now, big movies do this once in a while. The Matrix used leftover roof sets from Dark City. But, you know, they did it better than Roger Corman did, I guess. It's not as noticeable, I guess.
Yeah, you can't one-to-one compare the frames.
There are
hey,
like,
look, it's exactly the same.
Like I said, I still need to look it up, but Carnosaur 2, they're in the control room for like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
But it looks way too sci-fi, and it's like, what other fucking movie did you use? This looks like a submarine set or something. Like, it makes no sense. It doesn't look like a control room at all. But yes, despite all of that, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's not the worst one.
It's really
It's not the worst Fantastic Four movie.
The visuals, it's probably because it's a bootleg. Could use some work.
Not that it was ever going to look great, but yeah, it's not.
But it's not like
they're not
processed HD
remastering.
footage or anything.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not trying.
Yeah, they haven't remastered because Roger Corman sold some of his movies to Scream or Shout Factory. Some of them his daughter owns. I know because I was trying to remake Carnosaur a few years back and couldn't get off the ground. And I had to find out who owned it. I was like calling Roger Corman's assistant. I'm like, who owns Carnosaur? I don't even think she knows she owns it because there's nothing. It's just free on YouTube, but it's not remastered or anything. Yeah, so it would be
good
nice.
on Shout Factory.
Yeah.
Hopefully they.
So I think Constantine Films has this, and they said that Avi Arad or whatever how you pronounce his name.
Avi Arad. Well, Avi Arad said he took it home
and
he burned the footage.
Yeah,
film.
Which no one really believes.
That seems like
I believe it.
Yeah.
I totally believe it. I think he was like, flame on and just lit that bitch.
So wait, you said you liked the CGI.
Only ironically.
Okay, good, because they were conned by a visual effects guy who lied about how competent he was. What did they say? They said he claimed that he worked on Independence Day. He did the effects.
Which they didn't verify.
No, they didn't verify, but they were like, oh, they were like, maybe he was like an artist. I'm sure he was on an effects team, but he did not he was not the head of anything over there. Johnny Storm looks like Lawnmower Man or reboot or any other early 3D thing from the 90s. It was new at the time. Everyone was excited about it.
Yeah, no, pretty spectacularly ungood. You know,
and they work up to the full fire look.
You kept being like, "Oh, you're gonna get ready for this," and he does the hand fire. I'm like, "That's not bad for the time."
That's what I'm talking about.
He does the hand
oh,
fire,
and then it gets worse.
Yeah,
and then it becomes just a cartoon that doesn't go there.
The hand fire looks like what's that? Man, Mega Man. Mega Man's hand.
I like how they weren't able to film some fight scenes, so they just spin the camera like the thing with the guys and it just spins.
It's like a Batman transition.
I like it. Yeah, Batman.
For the Baxter building, they just use that building in New York that has the 4 4s on it. I forget what the name of that building is. They're just like,
the 4
get some
building.
footage of it. There you go, Baxter building, perfect. There's some okay miniatures at the end. So I'm surprised. So it was a rumor I heard years ago. And the documentary didn't confirm it, but like maybe there was an idea to repurpose this as a television pilot and get it out there. But turns out that might not have been true. This would have worked as a television pilot.
Yeah, it would have worked for sure.
For like just like a cheap
in the Lou Ferrigno era, like these guys got a suit.
This is a little
That's
after
way
that.
bigger.
This is the Flash era.
No, yeah, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah, the Flash, Lois and Clark era.
Oh yeah, the one where Barry Allen's not at all like the Flash.
Yeah. What other ones are going around? There was Nightman.
Nightman.
You're criticizing Nightman?
I don't know about Nightman.
That's the only superhero TV show that has a president of the United States in it.
Oh.
Nightman,
like an actual one?
Nightman turned into Donald Trump for a second in that show.
Oh.
Remember?
I have to go find and see that now.
Remember, he would just do anything for a while.
Yeah,
He's been in a lot of things.
That's what's so great about him, Tony. He'll do whatever he wants all the time. Even if it's stupid.
But yeah, again, there's a lot of heart that's in it. Everyone thought this was going to be their big break. It was really heartbreaking that they were going to conventions. There were magazines
lugging sending the head of the thing around,
and they were doing
it out on display on their own.
No
money.
one was paying for it. Yeah. The actors were doing it to get people interested, and people were thrilled and everything. And then it got shelved. And no one ever really heard of it until years later. The one fun thing was that Arrested Development season 4, which a lot of people don't like. I
just never made it that far. Sorry.
Look, I think season 4, the original edits, they've re-edited it to not be so non-linear and feel like the regular episodes. I like the original version. Season 5 is terrible. Don't watch season 5. Jump off. But season 4...
It's 2025, Tony. I don't think I'm going back to Arrested Development because I'm not in Arrested Development.
It was good. But season 4, there was a big joke about how they made fun of this where Ron Howard tried to make a Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And then he let the rights lapse. So they were trying to get the Fantastic Four going again. It was really, really fun. They made jokes. They're like, the people he hired to be the stars of the film also did catering at the premiere. And it's like the same actors in catering outfits the next day. So a lot of funny jokes came out of it. But I don't know. When I bought this years ago, I was ready to rip the shit out of it and be like, oh, this is going to be so funny. I'm like, all the cheap stuff, I really can't blame them for. I mean, I wouldn't have glued things onto a Nintendo's app and painted it gold. I probably would have got a different gun. But other than that, I mean, I could see what they were trying to do. You could have made a better movie from the script, tweaked a few things, get the real Mole Man in there.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine. But how do you feel about the unreleased Fantastic Four?
I mean, it was... honestly, it was all right. There was some questionable things about it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it should have been rewritten a little bit. But overall, all of it it's all right. It's pretty solid. It makes me sad how everybody just worked on it. And it's like, did they get paid? Or I'm sure they got paid up front.
Not
right?
a lot.
Then they spent all that money promoting the movie.
They mentioned that when they put it out there, they're like, Fantastic Four, we're doing this. There's not a lot of money. So, and then they were surprised how many people auditioned for it because no one knew what would be the next Tim Burton's Batman. That was the big one at the time.
That's fair.
So yeah,
that makes sense. It was, I don't know, it was fun to watch. It felt like a time machine going back to the 90s, early 90s, which I've never been to.
Yeah, you would have loved it. I think you would have really enjoyed it.
Flying Pan Am,
I was only a little
Fantastic
kid
Four.
and I enjoyed it. So I feel like you guys.
Wait, how was your first ever Pan Am flight? Did you enjoy Pan Am?
No, I think Pan Am might have been done, but it was When did Pan Am go down? That was
I think the early 90s.
yeah. I don't think I was ever on a Pan Am plane.
Pan Am Discourse.
Oh wait, no, I
Watch
think yeah.
Men's
Well,
Catch
hold
Me
on.
If You
I
Can
think
review.
there's a joke in Hook because they're flying Pan Am, and that was 91, but like Pan Am had been already gone like the year prior. Yeah. So no, I was not on a Pan Am flight. Sorry.
Dang.
I did eat at a Boston Chicken.
Is that Pan Am?
No, but
Why would I care then?
no, but you know Boston Market,
No.
the food chain Boston Market.
No.
Oh, do you know the food?
Yeah.
It used to
Yes.
be called Boston Chicken
Okay.
in the 90s.
Were you a Toys R Us kid?
I was a Toys R Us.
Man,
kid.
I never
Now-
got to go to like a big toy store emporium, like from Toy Story, and see all the toys everywhere. I never had that experience.
Oh, I did. Haha, I got him. Wait, that's.
Yeah.
Wait, they
well,
were still around like a few years ago.
I still have a dad. No, that my dad wouldn't take me when I was a kid, and then when I was an adult, I didn't want to go. I didn't go. I'm just saying, nobody ever. I didn't get to walk around and be like, "Whoa, it's the toy barn from Toy Story," like that kind of like. Because I know that's what Toy Stories were like for a minute.
Yeah,
Because they did it in Toy Story, so I know they had to have a reason to do that.
They were overpriced.
Anyway, sad.
But yeah. Okay, Roger Corman, Fantastic Four.
Not the worst one.
Not the worst one.
Not
I
worst.
I recommend everyone watch it. And if you don't want to watch it, at least watch the Doomed documentary. That was a really fun documentary.
Yeah.
And just seeing how like the guys, it's funny. The guy who played Reed and the guy who played Victor, they were the most burnt by it, even though they're like still acting and fine. The other ones seem to be like whatever. Like remember the one actress? They're like, I saw you as Alicia Masters. Like that movie's out. Where did you find it?
She didn't have big expectations for her role as Alicia
really.
Masters, okay?
But yeah, I recommend everyone check out at least the documentary. So they sit on the franchise for a bit.
Yes. Well, that movie began the cycle of Fantastic Four production, which is let's keep the rights for longer.
Yes.
Which is the only reason they make a Fantastic Four movie ever again.
So yeah, so Constantine Films still has it.
Yeah.
Superhero movies are kind of phasing out until Blade, which was A-Rad,
Pretty cool.
who made them make the movie like the Blade in the Spider-Man TV show, which was a smart move.
Yeah.
Like go back and watch my Blade episode. Like that movie just changed Blade
With
forever.
the Blade Boys.
Oh shit, I haven't done a Blade Boys episode in forever. Oh god, I gotta call them.
They're going to get you.
I know.
They're
I
going to
gotta
turn
call
on
them.
you, and then they're going to do Blade Boys without
It was,
you.
It was a rough
And
start.
then what?
It was a rough start to the year, but I think my schedule's a little bit better. I'm gonna get Blade Boys back. Patreon.com/hackmovies for Blade Boys.
Blade Boys!
We're going through every episode of the live action Blade. I think we got up to 6 episodes. Luckily, it's only one season. So yeah, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so Blade comes back.
Yep.
Then you get your X-Men. Then you get your Spider-Man, and everyone's just like, "What do we got?" And Fox is like, "Well, let's do fucking Fantastic Four."
Yeah.
Mint.
Yes, which
Can
box
you
is
read this one? Can you read the back of the box for the 2005 Fantastic Four?
it? Why didn't they do it in 2004?
Yeah, I have the same problem with this one, though. It's 2025, and you guys could have just released this movie last year, and it'd be like, like a thing.
And the Josh Trank one was 2015. They only
Instead of
released them
2014.
in years with 5.
That seems bad. And
It seems indicative of the quality of the movies you're going to get on
Yeah.
a thematic level.
it is spectacular, astonishing, stunning,
Wrong words.
and
I'd say it's fantastic if I were a journalist.
said the Chicago Tribune.
Ooh.
So you can blame them for
The
being
Pope's from
bad.
a place that writes news like this. Oh.
Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis,
Yes.
and Chris Evans had a sexy, star-powered cast in this explosive adventure about a quartet of flawed,
No fucking way. Are you
ordinary human
wait,
beings.
They didn't put him first.
because you can't fucking say his name at all. But so they don't even need him there, right?
He was the
Unpronounceable.
he was in things. This was probably his first like starring role.
This
I
is
think
why
of.
actors change their names.
Yeah.
Julian McMahon?
No, that's Dr. Doom. But yeah.
Julian
Oh,
McMahon.
No, Mr. Manta-
Ian Grufffoot.
There
Okay.
it is. Okay. It's
Ian
weird that he's
Gruffin.
not
He's the
first.
last thing
Yeah.
mentioned. Headed by Jessica Alba.
Yeah, she was the most memorable.
It's down in the special feature section.
Oh, it's not even
Okay.
in the description. Read
No.
the
All right, finish
description.
the description.
All right. About a quartet of flawed, ordinary human beings who suddenly find themselves with extraordinary
I'm sorry,
abilities.
they listed 3 names and then wrote quartet. Come on, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis
And other-
lead a quartet of characters.
Who is the fourth guy? After exposure to cosmic radiation, 4 astronauts become the most remarkable, if dysfunctional, superheroes of all time. Unfortunately, the mission sponsor has also been transformed into the world's most lethal supervillain, setting the stage for a confrontation of epic proportions.
Let's do confrontation, boys.
Packed with non-stop action, awesome special effects,
Whoa.
and irreverent humor.
Very reverent.
Fantastic Four is exhilarating fun from start to finish. Why did they not say fantastic at all? They should have just had the entire thing say, it's fantastic.
What's this movie about? Fantastic. Okay. Can't be bad.
Change all the adjectives to fantastic. You got special features too.
You don't have to read the special features. Okay, so yeah, this came out in 2005. It had to go up in the summer against Batman Begins. It's a little rough. I was not excited for this one. I think at this point I wasn't like super into the Fantastic Four, or I either liked the Fantastic Four or I just thought the movie looked bad. I thought it looked really corny and cheesy.
Yeah.
At least that's what the trailers made it look like.
I know this movie made a ton of money, but it couldn't have been that popular, right?
It was not that. It wasn't.
I
super
grew
well
up in the early 2000s, and it was all Hulk until Iron Man.
Yeah.
There was no Fantastic Four culture.
Which is weird because Hulk was
engagement.
super not well received.
Well, they
The
made
Spider-Man
they
movie-
made 3 movies in a row, though, so it's like...
Not Hulk.
Well, in the early 2000s, right? Didn't they, do...
They did the Eric Bana Hulk and then the MCU Hulk
just
in
the
2008.
2?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That window, though, like that in that window, they were also making these, 2005, 2007, and nobody cared about these. It was, are we getting a 4th Spider-Man?
Yeah, it was...
When's the next Hulk reboot?
Spider-Man, X-Men were like the big ones. They threw in
Yeah.
a Daredevil, an Elektra. This is in the Daredevil. This is Fox.
Yeah.
So Fox really wanted...
Elektra and Johnny Storm are both in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes, because that's a big celebration of Fox Marvel
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Even though when you look back, you're like, there's only a couple of X-Men that did well. So they wanted their next big thing because X-Men did so well. They're like, well, we have this other team. Let's do that. And they got Tim Story to direct, who had done before this. He did Taxi, starring Queen Latifah.
Oh.
Yeah. I forget. Oh, and he did Barbershop.
I gotta ask, how many people are naked in public in those movies?
I'm not sure. It's been a minute since I
You know the author's secret fantasy fetish insertion like meme or whatever?
Yeah.
Tim's story has Jessica Alba get naked as often as possible
Yeah.
in public.
It is
in
funny
this.
that they went, oh, this director known for making comedies with black leads. He will head our superhero team with no black people in it. It's
Yeah.
like, that was a weird choice. I don't think he did the worst job. But yeah, so when it comes to the cast, there's Ione Ruffin or whatever.
Eoin Gruffudd?
Yeah.
I don't... Loin...
It's confusing.
Is it an L or an I?
I used to read it as an L because
It's an
it's
I.
an uppercase I.
Yeah.
And that'll show you.
Michael Chiklis
letters are
was
wrong.
doing really well at this point. He had previously been sort of blacklisted from Hollywood because he starred in the John Belushi movie that
Okay.
people hated. That they people who knew Belushi
Is this
thought
during The Shield, though? 'Cause
this is years later during like around
that's
the
household
Shield.
name stuff. Like The Shield was...
The Shield is either
No.
out or on its way. He's
Okay.
like building his reputation again. And Chris Evans was an up and comer. They were putting him in a bunch of stuff around this time.
Not another teen movie.
Not another team. He stole the show and not another team movie.
Big break.
So yeah, when it came out, I skipped it.
Yeah.
I skipped it. And then I watched it on DVD once after it came out with like my girlfriend at the time. And I remember at the time being like, it's not as bad as I thought it'd be, but it's a little corny. But then when Silver Surfer was coming out, I was like, you know what, let me go back and watch that one. And I ended up actually enjoying it. I don't mind this movie too much. I think it does a lot right.
Yeah.
But the theme with both of the theme with all of the movies, but let's just focus on these two. They get it mostly right, except they drop the ball on the villain so hard.
Yes.
And they're using very big villains that you have to do right.
And I mean, with this one, you have a guy who is currently like off the end of his villain run on Charmed.
Yeah.
And he was really good as a bad guy.
Yeah.
And apparently they didn't let him do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, ham it up. And he's like, okay. Like, stupid.
Yeah,
The cast was good. This is a great
It's a great
Fantastic Four
cast.
cast. Alba's
okay,
Mexican.
yeah, all right. Jessica
Alba.
They
can't
did
be
try to
blonde like
make her
that.
a little more white. They gave her blonde hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if she has blue eyes in this, but they're not as bright. Well, we'll talk
Subtle.
about her appearance.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah, she gets whiter as the series goes on. But
So did Ariana Grande.
but she is smoking hot in this, so
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
I like her hair, although it seems to change color throughout the film. Like it starts
The
from
roots
like
show at different times.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that because they're going over the course of like
Yeah.
months. Yeah, they make sure Doom is there when they get all their powers, and they want him to
I
be
like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but then like, so Doctor Doom, he like has used magic and science and stuff. He has like powers.
Well, because he's from an old country that has access to like ritual artifacts. It's not because he's got space powers.
I don't mind him getting like injured and disfigured during the initial experiment and whatnot, but then they decided, well, if they all got these powers, he should get metal powers, and that'll mean we don't have to do the metal suit.
But they did the metal suit.
They did the metal mask.
After all, we're both doctors.
And they just tease the Latveria stuff. We see the mask once.
Yeah.
We see the mask throughout the film, and then we see the plaque. It's like given to Victor Von Doom.
As a gift from.
Yeah, a gift from the people of Latveria.
who would give that to him?
The Latveria. We see he has other masks, and that he's making a giant metal statue
In the very
with his bowl. So
first
I think it's
shot,
like what,
it's like his thing. He likes the idea that he's like an immortal metal man.
Yeah.
And Ben Grimm's like, that's fucking creepy, Reed.
Yeah.
And Reed's
It
like,
is.
he's just a little larger than life.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's
So
like, oh, that's supervillain shit, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
but yeah, so they gave him the metal electricity powers. And I'm
I
like,
don't even mind the electricity powers. If you have to give him some powers,
I guess so.
he gets the idea that like, well, he's in the shields, so now he's shields.
Yeah.
It's like his it should come from his personality in a way, not from like that he's in the shields.
We forgot to mention the Roger Corman one is the only one that did the personality meeting matching their powers.
Well, so directly, but in this one they do.
It's like more implied. Yeah.
It's just that like he can't. That one joke when they're getting their powers in the cafeteria, and she's like, "I can't see you," and she's like, "I know."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No,
She
Reed, no,
feels
Sue,
invisible.
I can't see you."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what she's trying to say. Is she feels invisible with Reed, and Ben feels like he can't be loved.
Did you like when they
etc.
all first got hit with the cloud? Like she turns invisible for a second. Johnny,
I kinda do like the
and then
glimpse.
Reed's like head goes all the way back for a second.
And then
He should have
Ben-
thought that was weird though.
Ben doesn't turn into a rock until much later, though.
I like that misdirect though, because they know the audience is expecting to be Rockman right away.
The
and I
fantastic-
love
or
the fake out. Like they tried and then he just looks normal.
Just a fantastic fake out there.
Everyone's-
And then he turns into the rock monster.
Everyone's like, "What happened to you? Everybody else got powers. What about you, Ben?" He's like, "I don't know, man." And then he like,
Now, he gets it the worst.
yeah.
He gets it so bad that that bitch from X-Files and Walking Dead breaks up with him.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was in Walking Dead.
Yeah. More people know her from that.
She
I know
kinda
her as
looks
the,
like
one of the worst
Sue.
informants for Mulder in the X-Files.
She
but
kind of looks like Sue-ish. Like she has the long blonde hair.
really has a type, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, not in this
Not
movie.
anymore.
Not in this movie. Because he'll meet Alicia Masters, played by then unknown Kerry Washington.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she had been in a few things, but she became huge after this. What was that show? Scandal?
Scandal,
I think that was
yeah.
like her big break. Or
I
big
could marry
thing.
me at Kerry Washington. That's going to
She
be
was
an
also in
enormous
Django Unchained.
scandal.
I forgot she was in Django Unchained.
Yay
also.
lyric. You never have to forget again. I might get me a Kerry Washington. Might have me an enormous scandal. Something like that.
Riley, I don't know if you still have residual amnesia. Maybe let's not bring up Kanye around this time.
He apologized. It's fine.
Oh, you're not up to date.
He apologized 2 days ago.
Okay,
You're out of date now.
He's apologized a few times.
and we're in an apology period. Okay.
Look. There's already footage of me saying I voted for him in 2020. Let's just try not to bring
I
up.
took your I voted sticker and I pretended to have voted for him in 2020, but only once it was offensive to have done so did I start doing that. I was like, yeah, I voted for it. Here's a picture of my sticker. And it's just your fucking sticker.
Anyway, what? I never did that. That was just a joke. Anyway,
We like to joke here. Jokes are funny. We
so
like
yeah,
jokes.
Kerry Washington's in it. I don't know. Like I said, the movie is okay mostly. Some of the humor is a little too much. Gets a little too wacky sometimes. Johnny's a little too like cocky. I know he can be.
He's very attention seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much more than the other ones.
And they're trying to like get one-liners.
I don't
and
agree
shit
that he's
out of him.
cocky. I think he's a little insecure.
Maybe.
But I think that he's very aggressive about coping with that throughout
Mm-hmm.
the film. Like the character's written in a way where he's like he's talking to the doctor and she's like, "You're hot," and he's like, "Oh, thank you. You too." It's like
pretty good. Yeah, and
it's not real cockiness.
everything he's saying is like used in the trailer. Basically,
Yeah.
they wanted trailer lines.
That makes sense.
They had to give him a buzz cut because apparently it was easier with the CGI instead of animating the hair.
The fire.
He looks like a Snowpiercer version of Chris Evans a little bit in this one.
Yeah. The Thing effect, I appreciate it was a suit and makeup, but I feel like the Thing should be motion capture
He could be a little bigger.
because he needs to be a little bit bigger. I appreciate they tried, but they didn't give him the eyebrow.
He's also shorter than
We're not really
Reed.
The ridge
He is
eye.
shorter than he should be. But that's because he's on a human person. That's why like I was never really super into the Lou Ferrigno Hulk because he just didn't look as big as I wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Because he can only be so big, he's a human.
He should be like 7-8 feet tall.
Yeah. But I think he plays the part really well. I think everyone plays the part really, really well. Maybe Jessica Alba so much. The problem is they bicker a lot. And I know they're supposed to grow.
It. They should bicker. They're supposed to bicker a little.
I do feel like maybe they bickered a little too much.
Yeah. Well, they don't bicker at all in the other one that the Corman one, right? Like there's like almost no interplay.
Ben has an argument with him. And it is funny, by the way.
Ben likes Johnny. Ben's like, "Can Johnny come to space with us?"
Yeah.
It's
No,
totally
I mean, like
different.
Ben argues with like Reed in that one briefly because then
Yeah.
that's how he ends up at the jeweler's place.
Yeah.
But no, this one, it's funny because that kind of happens in this. Ben gets into an argument with Reed, leaves, and then he bumps into Dr. Doom. It is kind of like Constantine just used that movie as a rough draft, basically.
Which, good
And
idea.
I think we talked about like I think they wanted Chris Columbus to direct this at some point. He is on as a producer though.
he ended up producing them.
Yeah. It is funny they took from that end. At the end, Dr. Doom does shoot a rocket that Johnny has to like chase, and it's sort of
It's
similar
pretty
to the laser.
same sequence, right?
Yeah,
But
pretty
it works
much.
better because
Yeah.
every part of it was better executed.
Flame on!
It's like
All
they
of it.
rewrote it and
Yeah.
then formatted it to what they needed and got rid of the grooming.
Yeah, they got rid of the grooming, thank God. They went to college together. They're the same age. Their relationship is weird. It's like we all went to college together. Sue broke up with
MIT specifically. They
yes.
all went to MIT together.
Yes. Sue broke up with Reed because he wasn't ready to have an apartment with her. Because who would want to be around Jessica Alba 24/7?
Well, she says that he broke up with her by not wanting to have an apartment with her. That is a contention in the scene.
they can't get on the same page.
They
though,
just
so-
don't agree on who broke up, which
Yeah.
how fucking tragic is that?
So
They
then
didn't even
she-
mean to break up. They
Yeah.
just did.
And then she dates his best friend afterwards.
Yeah.
Or former friend. Boss. Her ex's friend and her current boss. It's a little problematic, Sue. I wouldn't do that.
And whenever they're alone together, they're arguing about who broke up first. And I'm like, wow, wouldn't Victor hate this?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah. When Victor walks in on her at the Baxter building, he's like, "I've got all your stuff coming to my building," and she's like, "Oh, I want to stay here until we get a cure." And he's like, "Okay,
Okay.
what am I doing here?" Like,
Okay, you can stay with your ex-boyfriend and live with him.
Well, either
for-
tell her that or not. Don't be a fucking. Don't like. Be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you should understand. That
But
this
don't
is
worry,
hard
don't worry.
for
He
me."
has 1 million security cameras there that he spies on
watching
them with.
them.
Yeah,
He's
all
watching the
day
hell out of
long.
them.
We were talking about his assistant. It was bothering us when we watched it. His
Yeah.
assistant looked very familiar.
It's in a bunch of stuff.
And it's the actor Hamish Linklater.
Hamish Linklater, yeah.
Who's in a bunch of stuff. But yeah, the one I remember him most is the Mike Flanagan show, Midnight Mass. He was the priest in Midnight Mass. So yeah, he really stood out to me. It again, of its time, he's doing like motocross because that
Yeah.
was popular at the time. I do love when they leave the
He's
venue and there's
sponsored
the
by all the-
sponsors
yeah.
everywhere.
And like you said, that's how they do their Times Square scene from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
need to put all these ads in the movie.
Yeah. I do like that their first big saving the day thing is kind of from Ben fucking up a little bit.
Oh yeah, he totally
that's
caused all
hilarious.
A guy goes to kill himself, and Ben is like, instead of grabbing him,
What if I destroy
and
the
moving-
bridge?
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna body slam this truck. I sure hope there's not another
hold
truck.
on. You're missing some very key details.
Yeah.
He's like so sad, and he's on top of this bridge, and
Yeah.
there's this other guy. I don't know how he got on top because it shows
Hopped up there.
hopped. It was like 10 feet tall. It was it's before like,
And he's holding a suitcase. He didn't hop up there. There's something he must have had to climb.
yeah, so like he drops
Oh, I
it
thought you
and
meant
he's
the
about
thing.
to walk
Sorry.
off, and then the thing's like, "Hey, bud," he's like, "Oh no!" Right?
Well, then he starts running away because he actually wants to live.
Like,
Yeah.
That was cute.
and he like walks backwards, and things like, "Take my hand, take my hand." It's like, bro, you don't understand. He's like running away from you, even though
Yeah.
that you know that you're a monster.
Yeah.
It
It's a
doesn't-
great commentary on suicide, though. It's like, you don't really want to die.
And then like that guy falls in like in the middle of traffic, and so the thing has to like drop down and like cause a lot of asphalt damage that the taxpayers have to pay for.
There should have been The Incredibles style, like a, hey, you guys are responsible for this financially. Sorry.
And then like
And that guy's suing you because he didn't want to be saved, Ben.
Yeah.
And-
So
yeah, in order
this
to
traumatized him.
in order to save that guy, yeah, he bodies the semi truck, and then all the trucks. Nobody has the right mind to hit the brakes, or at least they're not like paying attention
They're
to
going
enough.
very fast.
Not really. I could have hit the brakes.
Yeah. And we notice in the scene, some of it looks really good. The bridge set looks great until they show the sky too much that it's very blue screen. So that is a hard part of the scene where it goes from looking really good then really bad.
Well, and there's stuntmen, like the firefighters swinging around on something.
Looks so bad.
And then there's actors
Yeah.
who are being totally just like transposed onto footage of something.
Yeah. And then during all this, we realized there must have, and I should check the deleted scenes, there must be something cut because they're like, we can't get to Ben. Sue, you can get to him.
Or
What?
it was added. Or nothing was cut.
or it was
and this
added.
fetishist, Tim Stories, said, I need her to get naked outside
I really
now."
wanted her to get naked. I mean, and she doesn't
And
do.
thank you.
She doesn't do nude scenes, unfortunately.
Right.
Like even in Machete, when she's naked in the shower, she's wearing a bodysuit.
But
They
I can,
digitally
I
had
can
to remove it.
just imagine it. That she was naked then. And she was nude. Because I couldn't see her not be
So
nude.
yeah, she's like
Don't
undressing.
take it from me, Tony.
Yeah.
She's undressing in front of everybody.
It's a
And then
bodysuit.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how her powers work because like she makes it so she's visible again with her bra and panties on, and everybody's watching her.
Yeah.
And then they see her go invisible again,
That's how they work.
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay. And then
Yes.
everybody knows that what you're trying to sneakily go through the
Yeah.
crowd, but
they're all
everybody
watching
saw
her turn
you.
invisible. But then like it cuts back to the Ben and whatnot. And then it cuts back to her dressed up, and the guys are already there. I'm like,
they've
what did
already
she
crossed
exactly
the-
do
yeah.
to get them across? I
She's
feel like they just
fully
Well, the
cut.
crowd was leaving by then, so the crowd just dissipates. They all just walk through, right?
So maybe, but I feel like she should have done something more, unless they were like, we cut that scene, but they're like, hey, this is too long. We gotta cut this whole sequence. They're like, well, leave the part where she's undressing, and then just cut to the end, and it doesn't make sense because we got to show her, and we're not gonna not have Jessica Alba in her bra and panties. Are we insane?
To the credit of Roger Corman's film, didn't have moments like this where I was like, well, that's not what happened there.
Yeah.
Totally doesn't make sense at all. I could follow the silliness going on. So
I'm
better script.
So I'm supposed to believe that she got undressed and then redressed.
Yeah, within like
Well,
a-
Johnny like picks up her clothes.
I mean, for like no reason
Yeah,
though.
she
Yeah.
redressed.
Yeah. But yeah, so they
Yeah, whatever.
They save the day because she also uses her force field to stop the fire from blowing everyone up. They save the day, and the news dubs them the Fantastic Four.
That's a newsly thing to do.
Best way they get their names.
Oh, you didn't like in the Roger Corman one where the mom is just like, look at you guys.
Look at you. The Fantastic Four.
A little
Four.
prommy for me, okay?
Yeah.
A little too.
Yeah.
No, bad.
So yeah, they get their names. Johnny loves it. He wants to be a celebrity. And yeah, the rest of the movie is just
And
like,
he gives them their individual names.
Yes.
What's that thing? That's exactly
that's
it.
the thing.
He's the thing.
That's Mr. Fantastic.
My
And-
sister's an invisible girl.
Yeah,
and,
she's like invisible
And
girl.
I'm the Human Torch.
Yeah, so like the rest of the movie is just them dealing with their powers,
Yeah.
arguing with each other, Ben trying to like find his place.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at parts
Yeah,
of it.
and Reed is trying to rekindle his relationship and cure Ben while Doom is turning evil. Doom doesn't really have a master plan he's working toward. He just wants to get more power and kill the four of
He's
them.
always wanted power.
I've always wanted power. He says that's so weird. I always wanted power. Yeah, so he wants to he wants to just kill the Fantastic Four very publicly, not even sneakily. He just
blames them for him losing everything, I guess.
Yes, because his company.
He's not trying to take anything back. He's just trying to kill everyone who works for him.
Again, it's also ripping off Spider-Man. Because the bad guy gets the powers the same day as the good guy, and they're about to take his company away from him, which causes him to snap. So yeah, they were kind of.
I hadn't thought about that so directly yet. Now I'm like, you're right. Damn.
He just goes crazy and wants to kill everyone, but like not get away with it. Like he just publicly wants to be a bad.
Well, he did get away with it.
Huh?
He did get away with it.
He's not in jail.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, he okay, so he wants to become more metal and creepy. But then he sees his reflection. He's like, my face, I'm hideous. It's like, well, you knew what you were doing.
You were picking at it, bro. You were opening your skin.
Yeah. So then he's just like, well, there's only one thing I can do. And it's that's put on my scary metal outfit. I actually didn't mind his outfit in this, even though he doesn't have the metal gloves and everything.
When you get evil powers, which of those masks are you putting on? Just because you have it around already? Which one do you just put on?
The Darth Vader one.
Probably the Halloween Resurrection clown.
I have the Joker mask that comes with the comic, right?
Yeah.
For that one. And I've never thought like I'm gonna put it on because it's here and I'm gonna wear it outside.
Well, the Batman one I can't put on. It's a display purposes only.
How did he know that wasn't? Right? He's putting it on and like, it doesn't fit. How awkward and cringe would it be if you put it on halfway? It's ow. Ooh, never mind. Puts it back.
I didn't mind his outfit. He is green, which
Green's
I like.
Nice. Good color for
and
Dr.
it's got the big buttons on it. But like, but it's just like, oh, that's just a jacket he had. I'm like, is that a Latvarian jacket? That doesn't match the wardrobe he's had the whole movie.
No.
Yeah, so that's their way around it. It's not a bad look. The mask looks cool. I like the reveal where he's just like, we're both doctors, and he's in his full suit. So they tried a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't feel like Doctor Doom at all. Really.
His gravitas, though, makes up for so much of it. I mean, by far not the worst Doctor Doom in these movies.
There is one good moment where he's about to kill, what is it, like Ben or Reed?
Yeah.
And like someone stops, he's like, "Oh, I'll be right with you," and he's like, he's about to
kill Ben.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fantastic shows up. You know, he's like, Reed, I'll be right with you.
There's a weird part here where Reed is making a machine to reverse their thing.
Yeah.
And Ben is mad that it's not done yet.
Yep.
And that
so Reed tries it earlier and it hurts him.
It hurts him. And then Ben does it and is cured.
But here's the thing too. Reed does like what? Reed wanders off and then comes back and he was fine about it.
Wait, yeah.
Well, he's like injured. That's how Dr. Doom.
That's
is
why
able
Doom's
to,
able to freeze him.
Because his like molecules aren't like back yet. But yeah, so he knocks like Ben out, and then Ben thinks the only way to stop Dr. Doom is to turn myself back into a rock monster.
Wait, here's.
Yeah.
What's funny, I think it's interesting. He didn't have enough power.
Yeah.
The machine, and that's why it messed up for Reed. But then, like, Dr. Doom's like,
you think Doom boosted it?
Yeah, Doom boosted it.
So that's why it might have. That's why it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's just
maybe it
straight up.
Maybe it wouldn't work, but then it worked to turn him back into it. I just feel like I feel like it was real lazy trying to get him back to being the Thing.
Well, and they have to take him away from being the Thing just for a minute.
Yeah.
So he feels bad. That's
Which the previous movie had him turn back into Ben for no reason because of love.
Yeah.
And then they immediately got rid of that.
Turned him right back.
Yeah, I thought that was weird that he's not the Thing. And instead of just being like, I have to call the cops and the military and get someone to help us. And this is 20th Century Fox. Maybe the X-Men can do something. They're in this universe, maybe. And they don't do that. He's like, nope, I got to be a rock monster again. It's like, well, what if it turned you into something else this time? What if you just horribly died?
I mean, now you're made of gas and you can't even leave the building.
I mean, he doesn't have the brains to think of that.
I was going to say, there's something nice about like I'm a dumb guy.
Yeah.
All my opinions are obvious. Hey, this guy seems evil. Yeah. Should we really, it's going to be safe? It'll be safe enough. So what? Safe enough, huh?
Oh, it's like, it should work.
Should work?
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that, like, dumb guy, like, instinct that keeps them alive.
But also, he can, like, fly in space and stuff.
He's a pilot, you know? He's, I mean, you can drive a car.
Yeah.
How much do you think that takes you up here to, like, run it?
That's different than flying a spaceship, Riley.
I mean, not... It's, yes, by increments of, like, IQ that he would... He's the dumbest friend of his.
Yeah.
But they all went to MIT.
Yeah.
So he's not, like, stupid.
He's not, like, dumb.
He's like, I'm going to turn the machine on dumb. Not like, I don't know how to turn the machine on dumb.
Yeah. I like that he put a lot of effort into the role.
Because in Fantastic 15, he's like dumb, like
Yes.
actually just not participating.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second, or in a few minutes actually. But yeah, the action is okay. The effects are corny and cheesy, but like also, how do you make a stretchy man look like not corny?
You have to buy
and
into the
cheesy?
premise that he's stretching. It's cool. It's
I guess
whatever.
maybe they like tried to do too much with him, so like eventually it starts to look more and more ridiculous. Like his head is just like floating, and he's got a CGI.
You just have to agree that that's happening, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to criticize his effects specifically.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to look dumb.
Yeah.
They always look bad.
Like even in the new trailers, they're not really showing a lot of Mr. Fantastic stuff. There's like that one shot of him jumping.
Like Tony, there are rocks, and
Yeah.
there is a lack of seeing things, and
Yeah.
there's fire.
Yes.
What there isn't
Yeah.
is doing this. Like that's not real at all.
Yeah.
So you can't do a good job.
I think the cornier it is, the more fun it is. I especially
can be.
like when he's trying to like contain people. Like
Yeah, when he like is fighting Ben and
When he
he's all
wraps
like,
him,
yeah.
full Nelson's in there.
yeah,
But I
His-
do like
his leg on the other side of the room.
yeah. That's
I do
that's
like
fun.
at the end they all use their powers together.
Yeah.
Which is the whole coming
They're a
together moment.
team.
as
This
they
was called
should.
like, Ben. Which they Johnny goes supernova to like melt him, to superheat him. Sue uses her force field to contain it.
Dr. Doom dropped that banger. What happens to elastic?
He's like, what happens when you
rubber when you
happens
super cool it?
superheat rubber? And he's like, what happens when you freeze
Super
rubber?
cool, and then it
Yeah.
was super cool, and then he's like, "Oh, hey, Victor, what happens when you superheat metal?" Or, it's like, and then rapidly
And then
cool it.
Ben uses his strength to knock over the
Fucking
hydrant.
chemistry shit.
And then Reed uses his stretchy powers to angle it at
that was
the-
cool.
Yeah.
That
he made a
was really-
water slide, like
Yeah.
hose out of himself.
That was
and-
really cool.
Yeah, so they used all the powers, and they're like, that's fine. And
Yeah.
then I do like that they were wearing spandex, because this was the leather daddy era of superheroes. Only Spider-Man really did spandex, and even his villains were wearing leather and
Yeah,
body
these easily
armor.
could have been like jackets with zippers.
Like Daredevil. It
Yeah.
easily could have been Daredevil.
I mean, Sue Storm, she has the zippers at the right height.
You know what?
Yeah,
I feel like in the movie she's not really unzippered that much, but in a lot of the advertisements she's
promos.
unzippered. Yeah, so I thought they were fine. Although we were joking because, like, okay, so the suits were radiated, and then that's why they work. But then they add buttons to it. I'm like, well, why is the button on fire? Why can the button stretch?
The only thing we could figure is that the buttons are made out of alloy from the crash, from the ship or something.
But then go like in the next film, they have clothes that work with their powers. I'm like, wait, so maybe that cloud machine, they just use it for their clothes. Maybe that's what they're doing.
That's actually clever. That'd be a good joke too.
Yeah.
Just throw in there. I'll take it.
But yeah, it wasn't super well received. I think most people thought maybe it was just okay. Everyone really thought it was corny. Like I said, it took me a little bit to actually end up enjoying it. But how do you feel about it overall?
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't the best thing, but I like the idea. It's definitely a step up from the Roger Corman one. It's in
Okay.
budget. I was like, you know what? After watching the Roger Corman, this is definitely better because the budget. There's more
There's a
budget.
staircase up.
Yeah.
You said step, but
Oh yeah,
it's a staircase up.
it's
in
an
budget.
it's an entire story.
A Tim story.
And so yeah, it's fun. The acting's fun. I like the bickering. That I feel like really makes or breaks a fantastic.
See, and
I-
Youth didn't like how much it was. She liked more of the bickering in this.
I didn't mind the burger. I just think they overdid it.
Overdid it a little. Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
No, I think it should be all bickering.
Yeah, she's like, give more bickering.
I need more bickering because I'm mostly interested in the interpersonal conflict between the team, and even with that, they still have to work together in the end. Even with Ben and Johnny constantly pulling pranks on each other
Yeah.
and like fighting and feuding. That's
was
the most
kinda fun.
entertaining part, honestly. Is the inner conflict between Ben and Johnny and their different personalities.
That's good. What did you think overall, looking back at it?
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it's really good compared to what we've had and get after it, and like.
Yeah, it's not the worst. Looking back, like, I think
mean-
people thought it was way worse than it was back then.
When am I supposed to pick my best one?
Not yet.
I
Not
won't pick
yet.
it.
Not yet.
I'm not gonna pick it early like in the Wolverine episode. So this movie is great though. It's it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun in a way that it was rare to see. Spider-Man was fun. X2 was fucking not fun
it
at
feels
all.
like it has like the
X3, like everybody dies, and then X3 or X2 everybody dies and X3 everybody else dies. So I didn't enjoy those were bad to me.
Those are fun. Those are fun. I mean, they're good movies. They're a little bit more
It's
serious.
so fun when they all die at the end because the world isn't ready for gays after all.
Yeah,
like, come on. It was depressing.
I guess you could call it fine and fun.
Yes. No, this one, it feels like it's like more in tone with the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, just not as well written or acted as
for
them.
sure.
Yeah.
It feels like it could have been. It feels like maybe they were hoping like you guys are gonna let us cross over, right?
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Because that's AV Arad's thing has been the whole time. Like, how do I make this like the comics? You know,
Yeah.
more or less. It's like, how do I get all these characters to talk to each other?
Yeah.
Because we had a Wolverine cameo in this movie that was cut out. The face morph.
Yes, in the actual film, he's talking about like being manly or whatever, and he makes his chin bigger. But in the other cut, he like makes his hair grow out like Wolverine.
Yeah, he gets the Wolverine like facial feature.
Yeah, implying that they might live in the same universe.
Yeah.
How
But yeah,
does
it's
that?
Huh?
How does that implication work?
Like he's seen
Well,
him. He's
we never
doing
got to
he's
it.
doing a facial impression of a person that he has seen and denotes as a masculine figure. What the fuck? What do you mean?
I was curious. Like, how does that directly?
If I had stretched
mean-
your arms, you'd be knocked out right now. I'm like, weird, but I can't get you from here.
if only. Oh, there you go. But yeah, I would say if you're gonna rewatch these movies, I mean, if you're gonna watch Fantastic Fours leading up to this, give these movies another chance. Again, the Doctor Doom was the weakest part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, the next movie.
Yes.
Really.
Okay.
A lot of the things that I would say are bad about this movie is that it almost necessitates a certain type of person to continue to watch, and then you'd have to see the next one.
Yeah.
And
So they greenlit the next one. Mm-hmm. And then this is where I got excited. Because I love the Silver Surfer cartoon. I
Big
was
fan you are.
so into the Silver Surfer cartoon.
you think he's Norrin Rad?
Yeah, I thought he was Norrin Radical. I loved him. No, I really, really enjoyed that cartoon. And that cartoon is what made me love the character Galactus. And that's what brings us to Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. Riley, your turn.
A terrific adventure for the whole family.
Why are you doing it in like a fancy...
Brace yourself for non-stop action and super-powered fun in this fantastically entertaining smash hit. Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, and Mr. Fantastic, Dr. Reed Richards, are about to be married when a mysterious alien...
Why are you suddenly you're turning like Scottish all of a sudden?
crashes the proceedings and heralds Earth's impending destruction. With time running out, the Fantastic Four reluctantly team up with the nefarious Dr. Doom in a thrilling effort to save our planet.
You did like 5 voices.
I need like a reel. 'Cause I want to get hired to do like voice stuff, and now I've got a great reel. So there you go.
Yeah, so...
Hire me.
Fantastic Four, Rise of Silver... Oh, God, we tried
Fantastic
Mr.
Four is
Fantastic.
the fall of Mr. Fantastic.
Maybe you could stretch up here.
Let me put him here. Yeah, so at the time, I wasn't really hot in the first movie. I would become more of a fan of it. So I was like, well, I don't really like Fantastic Four, but like, I really love Galactus and the Silver Surfer. I'm like, so I gotta see that fucking movie.
And you were really naive. You thought they're going to give me Galactus and the Silver Surfer. I'm going to have a great time watching it.
I mean, they did deliver on the Silver Surfer.
Kind of, yeah. Yes, so again, I was pumped for it. I'm like, this is gonna be really good. Why aren't they showing Galactus? Where's Galactus? I didn't know at that time that apparently the Ultimate Comics turned Galactus into Galactus. And it's like what? It's like a swarm of robots that look like his helmet or something.
It's a big idea.
Yes. It's not a giant man with a helmet, which is what Galactus should be.
But those were subversive, Tony. And so that they were good.
Yeah, so I guess this movie was like, we'll go with something more like that instead of actual Galactus. However, I think early on...
Never pull from the Ultimate Fantastic Four. It's the worst thing.
Yeah, it's not that great. But yeah, I think at some point, whether he was a cloud or not, he was going to talk, because I think Lawrence Fishburne, who voices the Silver Surfer, was going to voice Galactus, and they end up thinking Galactus should be silent, so they let him voice Doug Jones, and I think this is the last time Doug Jones lets someone voice him.
All that you know is at an end.
Yeah.
Because he had David Hyde Pierce do his voice in Hellboy. But in the next film, he just did the voice himself.
Yeah.
Because Doug Jones is like a suit actor, basically.
He's like Andy Serkis for good movies.
So he's the Silver Surfer in this. He's Abe Sapien in Hellboy. If you've seen Shape of Water, he's the monster that looks like Abe Sapien from Hellboy.
Oh, okay.
He's on like some of the newer Star Treks, I think. He's like a weird alien on Star Trek Discovery.
Kind of a cool career. He's like a cosplay girl.
Pretty much, yeah.
Not all the
you ever watch Hocus Pocus?
predation upon.
No, actually.
Well, he's the zombie boy they bring back to life. So he's very, very popular when it comes to like suit act because he was very thin and very tall and lean.
Yeah.
So they got him to do the motion capture and the live action suit. You
can be Reed Richards because I'll never be a suit actor. I'll never be thin and tall and stretchy and.
So you're the Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Thing right now.
So I think I like went into it like with this expectation that it would be a Silver Surfer movie. To its credit, it should be a Fantastic Four movie because that's
The rise of the Silver Surfer implies there's like a whole hero's journey for him.
Yeah,
Too, that there is.
And the marketing.
It's not like he's the new member of the team.
The marketing leaned way like really heavy on the. So are you okay there, man?
Sorry.
Stop
You're
playing
giving
with
me
it.
ADHD. I'm gonna have to start taking Concerta.
Yeah, do we have any Concerta for men? I think I have. Vito left some.
I need unregulated, unscheduled bursts of Concerta, please.
So I went and saw the movie with my friend Zach, who I actually started Hack the Movies with years later.
Zach the Movies, it was called. And
Actually,
then he
has
stole it from him.
Actually, it turns out he has his own YouTube channel. It does very well. Last time I checked, so that's funny. But yeah, so we saw it, and I remember being like, "Oh, okay." So here's the thing: I think this movie mostly works, and I actually think it's not that bad, except for ruining Galactus. Again, they dropped
Hot take.
the ball on the villain, and I would have liked more of Silver Surfer in this. Like, I wanted him to be, because he's the threat, which is fair, because what was it? He's the herald for Galactus. He finds planets for Galactus to eat. So it makes sense that he would be the villain early on. But I just wanted a little bit more character development from him. Instead, they lean on the whole Johnny. Johnny's really, because I think that actor was getting bigger, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
So it's all about him like getting all their powers, because they gave the Silver Surfer some weird powers.
They should have Super Scrolled Doom. It would have been better.
Yeah. So, well, they mixed two stories. They did the coming of Galactus and then the story where Dr. Doom gets Silver Surfer's powers.
Right.
They mixed both of those. So, yeah, the Silver Surfer, like I just watched the first episode where they explain all his powers. Like, you'll shoot energy, you'll move really fast, you can survive in space, and all this. At no point does Galactus go, you'll change the weather. And if people were hit by a similar cloud,
Cosmic radiation
you
beam.
will alter them a little bit. For example, you will make one of them switch powers with the other three, and you will make a metal guy come back to life. And then if you hit him with one of your energy blasts, you'll actually fix his face.
It's not great writing, but I think it is science that you just don't know anything about anything ever at all,
I guess
and
so.
stuff
I
just
guess
happens
so.
to you.
I really like how Sue is like trying to be really empathetic to the Silver Surfer.
I like it, but it comes so late in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's the only purpose Alicia Masters' character has to offer this franchise, and she didn't do it. So he's supposed to like, or it would be an easier entryway for him to bond with an outsider of the culture who he's like, I don't see why life's beautiful. And she's like, I don't see it all. But let me tell you why life is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's like important and cool in the cartoon.
Instead, Alicia's just there.
Yeah, the beginning and end.
Just there.
She's just feeling up all over Ben.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your
the big
face
thing.
is so
The big thing
texturous.
is Reed and Sue's wedding. Their big publicity.
Now I liked that.
Yeah,
that's where I agree with you that this movie's like, oh, this is a good idea.
Now, what wedding do you think was better, this one or the Roger Corman one, where he's in his super suit and he has a wobbly arm waving?
The wobbly
Well, that one's better. That one is a better wedding, but it's just like a better comic. Like you can imagine that would be a comic book page.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm sure that is a comic book page somewhere with his hand out waving.
Yeah.
This wedding had like an angry bouquet.
Oh, that's at the end. The bouquet's at the end. So yeah, they have the wedding. The Silver Surfer
gets interrupted right there.
Yeah, he like attacks the wedding, and then Johnny has to take, which was the trailer for the movie.
Yeah,
it was the wedding.
Yeah, Reed's been tracking him, and Reed's got a little device that's like, oh, he's in New York.
And it's just like every time that he like flies around the Earth, it gets cold and all the electricity just stops.
Yes.
You just literally slowing down
but then
electrons.
sometimes
Well,
it
different
doesn't.
things. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes the electricity stops.
Yeah, and then he
It's not consistent.
And then sometimes he's liquid metal. He can phase through things.
No. Well, Terminator was really cool.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, the chase with Johnny Storm and him was a lot of fun. And again, the teaser trailer was cool when he just drops him on Earth and you're like, oh shit, is Johnny dead? That's fine. His powers are weird, but at least he looks like the Silver Surfer. At least he does some Silver Surfer stuff. They wreck on it where like all his power comes from the board, which I didn't like.
Right.
Because
the board can be broken and stuff. The board's like a thing, but it's not like his ultimate source, be all and all of.
Yeah.
He's eventually separated from the board, and he goes from this like really watery silver texture over him to just like a more dull, less shiny, less wet silver texture.
That's when it becomes like a practical effect, like in a suit. Probably touched up digitally here and there. But yeah, so then Dr. Doom actually has a plan this time. Well,
I mean, not really.
Well, kind of. Okay, so yeah, they show Latveria, and I thought they were going to lean harder into that. They don't. They literally threw him in an attic. So they ship him at the end of the last one.
Which is him getting away from any consequences. Like
yeah. And then they go, yeah, just throw him in the attic up there. And then he comes back to life. We see like his ancestors.
Which I'm just like, I'm sorry. I know that this is a sensitive idea, but there are like museums with Nazi memorabilia, like bad guy things.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be in one of those? He's a world famous New York City now bad guy. Like, there's got to be like a museum that he would have been in.
Yeah.
Not just carted back to an
Latveria,
attic.
he was like a beloved person in Latveria. He's not like
Why isn't he in a museum there then?
Yeah, he's not like a leader in this one though.
Nobody's a billionaire.
Yeah. But like
have
all
to be
the
a
other
leader
versions,
to
he's
be,
like the
like,
leader
important.
of Latveria.
In the
In like the
he's
comics.
not a leader in the Corman one though, you know.
Well, he is in the Corman one. Or it's implied.
Well, he's just like a crazy guy in a castle, isn't he?
I guess so, but in the comics, he's like the head of
Well, in the
Latveria.
comics, it's outright like, he's the political royal family of the country.
And this, it just feels like he is famous over there, but
He
he's
just
doing
lives
his
over
own
there
thing. Yeah.
right now, yeah.
But yeah, the makeup for him was really, really cool. And apparently the studio hated it, so they made sure he was covered most of the time. But yeah, then the surfer heals his face.
Yeah, that felt like, what are we doing with Julia McMahon?
They were
What
like,
are
we don't want him
doing
in the
here?
makeup the whole time. Just do it in the beginning, and then he gets healed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dr. Doom's plan is to get the board and then fly around and blow things up.
Well,
but
I think he
but the
thinks
world's
he's gonna
about to
defeat
end.
Galactus, doesn't he?
Huh?
Doesn't he kind of think he could just defeat Galactus once he has the board?
He doesn't make any
effort.
effort to.
I find it really fun.
I guess you're right.
That while they're focused on the Silver Surfer being like such a bad enemy or whatever, he's like, hey, actually, I'm not the enemy. I'm the one here to warn you that there's somebody here to eat your planet. And
Well, no,
everybody's
he's
just-
not. He's letting him eat the planet.
Well,
No,
it's twofold, right? He does call him, but he is warning them. Like, he's not
Yeah.
hiding it from
Well,
them.
he
He's, like,
lets them
saying-
know. He lets them know why he's doing it.
Yeah, when Sue asks.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just so funny because they're so distracted on that. And you get like dramatic irony that knowing it's still Galactus and like, you guys are so focused on the wrong things. You guys should be focusing on something else. Like, I don't know, creating a guy who eats planets destroyer or something.
They have to make an.
They need a laser.
They have to make
Laser.
They have to make the what was it called in the comic? The ultimate neuralizer or something. Remake some device.
The neutralizer.
Yeah, something like that. He's got to make that. They don't
Well, he's
make
a Phantom Zone prison too, right? Like his own the neutral zone.
the neutral zone, yeah, which doesn't exist, or negative zone.
Negative zone, yeah, which they've never done. They haven't done in any of the movies.
I love that we named Phantom Zone from Superman,
know.
neutral zone from Star Trek, and then we eventually got to negative zone.
Well, it's all the same shit, dog. So Cassandra Nova has a void. Like,
Oh yeah, and then they, for whatever reason, they put Frankie Ray in this, who becomes like a herald of Galactus, but she's like a lady Human Torch, sort
she
of.
doesn't want to bang the Human Torch.
No.
That's her character in this movie.
Yeah.
A woman who doesn't want to bang the Human
She's like
Torch.
I guess she was like a model. They were trying to make an actress at that point, and she's angry military lady.
Yeah. They could have done Nova in this, the Herald Nova.
Yeah.
Like,
Would have
been
that
cool.
was a weird setup there. Again, I wanted more.
or maybe in the third one they would have used her.
Yeah.
You know, because Yeah,
Well, it would have been nice to do they wanted to do a Silver Surfer movie. So in a way, this was like their introduction to Silver Surfer.
Rise of the Silver Surfer, so that he
yes.
can do his own stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
They should change the title.
Doctor Doom looks more like Doctor Doom, but the colors are wrong. He's all black in it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just color it a little bit. It could have been a dark green.
Bullets bounce off of his cloak now.
Yeah.
So it's not fabric. It's
Yeah. But yeah, then when he gets powers, he just turns that guy into rocks. It melts him, and then he can make water go up in the air, and he can explode them out, and it's like, why don't you just explode their cars?
Is his lightning power supposed to be storm related, and that's why we think cosmic energy does storms? Because
Don't
cosmic
know.
storm,
He barely has the lightning power. He uses it a few times.
He barely has it anymore. Now he's got like.
But then when he gets the Silver Surfer power, he's like, I'm just gonna shoot energy beams.
Yeah.
And blow up things.
I just think he's just trying to find the most evil thing he could do that he could think of at that moment.
But it's really not like he's even like going.
You think he's in his head like it's like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
But I love that they're like, the world is gonna end, and he's like, I have all the power now. It's like, yeah, but someone's about to eat the world, and he's just like, I'll take care of it. It's like, Hal, you're wasting time with the Fantastic Four. You should be going to space.
I've always wanted power.
And he goes, I don't really like sharing power. It's like, well, you should go to space and fight Galactus. Why are you wasting time with the Fantastic Car?
And that's very out of Doom's character, though. That's a part of this character assassination.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom would just be like, yeah, I defeated Galactus. Reed's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, just to get it over on Reed.
Yeah.
He'd be like, it's easy to
That's
defeat
the
Galactus.
thing. He never has like a really big plan. It's always just, I'm going to get power. I'm going to kill the Fantastic Four. It's like, that's it. You're not trying to do like...
It's very Sinister Six. Like, I was going to kill Spider-Man. That's
Obviously,
my only motive.
try to kill the Fantastic Four, but it feels like he should have something else he's building
But he's
up
never
to. And
trying to kill the Fantastic Four. He tries the first couple times, and then he spends 20 years fucking with Reed.
Yeah.
And, like, ruining their dates.
But it really
like
should
that.
be... It like, let's take like the Spider-Man movies. It's like
Yeah.
Dr. Octopus wants to make a sun machine. He has to kill Spider-Man because Spider-Man's trying to stop him.
Right.
Like that's it. But like Dr. Doom is just, I want to kill the Fantastic Four. I don't even care that the planet. Honestly,
I want to kill Fantastic Four because they gave me all the power I've always wanted.
Yes.
And I feel so cool now.
And I'm
Like,
jealous
that I need
of Reed.
revenge.
I will fight him and kill him before the world ends, even though I could probably just wait. I could probably
he could
survive
have not
this.
involved himself,
Yeah.
and the world would have probably just ended.
Yeah.
Had Victor gone, ha, look at these schmucks.
And
then
Dr.
just
Doom
not
will survive
acknowledged
in
it.
space. He can do it.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so there's good stuff in here, but the Silver Surfer interacting with the team is a little rushed at the end. It's like in the back of the movie, really, really rushed. I feel like him and Sue, I like where they were going, where he had a connection with her because he misses his wife, because he's doing this to spare his planet.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to see some of that.
If we were ever going to see a female Silver Surfer, why didn't we get a flash of her then? So I hope it never happens in a different movie.
Don't get me started on that.
I really like
You gotta do
when
the thing.
I really like I like seeing everybody switch with Johnny's
Yes.
powers. That's fun.
Yeah.
Like you see Sue, she's like floating in the air and she's on fire. She's freaking out. She's like, I'm
Because
on
we
fire.
had to get her out of her clothes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
on fire.
I'm
Like
Can
that.
I borrow your powers?
Yeah.
Wow, he's invisible now.
I know it's crazy, and I'm like ultra strong.
Oh man, I guess he's just really, really quiet too. Anyway, Mint, Riley, feel free to interject whenever you want. I know being invisible is probably a shock in your speechless, but anyway, Mint, yes, I like when like Johnny is flying and he bumps into Reed when Reed's all over the Ferris wheel, and then
yeah.
he turns into fire. But like Johnny falls and he's all rubbery and weird looking.
Yeah, he can't like control. He's like flat against the ground
Yeah.
or something.
But it is weird when Ben switches powers with him, and he's like, "I'm back to my old self," and it's like, well, at the end of the last movie, Reed said he could do that for you, and you said, don't worry about it. So why do you want to be back to your old self now?
I think he's just constantly insecure, and he's like, nah, man, I'm not insecure.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. And he's like, oh man, I can't believe it. I'm like a rock monster. And he's like, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. Like,
But then there's also like, there's this other struggle where like Reed and Sue are trying to get married. They're trying to have a normal life, but Reed is addicted to work and keeps fucking it up. So there's a struggle. They're like, hey, after this, let's leave the team. And Johnny and Ben know about that, and they feel betrayed. So they all have to come together at the end. And I like how it leads up to like Johnny has to use all their powers. So he's like invisible and stretchy and with the rock, which is like the super scroll.
It would be really cool if Reed had all their powers, because then he could just do literally anything he can think of.
Yeah.
What if he was like a stretchy man rock guy who could
Yeah.
go on fire and turn invisible? Like, that would be really cool. Because I also like seeing Reed's application of the fire. Because like when he gets Johnny's power.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mint. In the middle of your sentence, he turned uninvisible. Right?
Yeah, you didn't have to do a force field over my mouth the whole time.
Can I have my powers back?
No, we already did that. I already gave you your powers back. That's why you could see me again.
No, we didn't do that yet.
Well, you didn't see
see
it
him
happening because I was invisible, meant with the force field over my mouth, so I couldn't talk.
Can we try it
Anyway,
again?
as we were.
Wait. So what were you saying about Johnny getting all the powers?
I really like seeing Johnny get all of the powers, and especially seeing Reed using his powers, because he's just going to think, oh, I could use this hot and fuse metal together and like get this
He's like a genius.
like this fairy wheel just no longer falling, and I'm like,
Well, there would be no movie if Reed got everyone's powers instead of Johnny. It'd be like,
perfect.
I am Mr. Fantastic after all.
The weird thing is, like, Johnny has to learn to fly in the first one.
Yeah.
And then here, Sue and Reed get the powers. They're flying right away.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
flying
because
right
he's
away.
insecure.
Yeah.
See, he wants to be a pilot, but he has imposter syndrome. So it's hard
Okay.
for him to take off.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's overcompensation thing. It's all personality based. Psychoanalyze the shit out of these characters.
Yeah.
Batman's afraid of rats that fly. It's like that.
So yeah, the movie's fine, but again, Galactus. Enough people like me bitched, but we bitched too late because we didn't know ahead of time. I feel like I read something years ago that was just like they almost retconned it, where like Galactus was the cloud that gave them their powers. I'm like, okay, that's a little too much. They ended up not doing that, but
Cool, good idea.
So people were complaining, what the fuck? Galactus is a cloud. That's stupid. What are you doing? What are you doing? And very, very, very late into production, they made a few tweaks to imply that he was in the cloud.
Yeah, the shadows, dude.
So when he's flying past Saturn, you see the helmet cloud, the shadow of his helmet. I'm like, okay, maybe he's riding the cloud there. He's gonna be in the movie. And then you get to it. The Silver Surfer, who we learn at any time could have blown up Galactus and just never did. Or maybe he just didn't know it would work, but now he has the confidence to do it. Maybe is that what we're led to imply? Anyway,
yeah.
Silver Surfer, after bringing Sue back to life, because she dies, and he's able to bring her back, and he's like, I'm going to fight for humanity, and I'm going to try and take Galactus down with me. He goes into the core of the cloud, and there's a fiery outline of Galactus standing in it.
People have a hard time with like the scale, I think, in Western media of what that would have to have been anyway.
Yeah.
Like only Japan animes like Gundam do it right when it's like, look how big things are and how slow they are and how much force and how minute you would be in comparison to this.
Yeah.
And instead he's like standing there like this big compared to the Galactus cloud.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I guess the idea is that he's in there and he's
he's miles
floating.
away from anything he's flying towards at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he supposed to have gotten to the back of the cloud? Is that what we're supposed to take it as?
I don't know. The logistics of the cloud are confusing, but I guess it's implied he's sucking.
It's so
the
much easier to
energy.
punch a guy.
Yeah.
Or to fly right up to a dude's flying floating chair and like turn it off.
Yeah.
Who gave
The cloud
Silver
shit.
Surfer his powers? Wasn't it Galactus?
Galactus.
It was Galactus.
Yeah, why would Galactus give Silver Surfer
Because
his powers that could defeat him?
He was wasting too much time going to the wrong planets.
Yeah.
So like this planet that worked for him that he ate and enjoyed, he went, you and your wife.
He spared it.
I'm gonna spare. Well, I think does he spare both of them and make him work, or he's gonna kill the wife, basically?
Yeah, basically he's like, I will spare this specific planet if you were to go out into the cosmos and find
me a bunch of other ones.
Still,
so then he leaves there.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. But still,
it
it's
is
like
why did he give him enough power to allow?
Why didn't one of the Nazis shoot Hitler? I mean, that's not how
she's
power
saying
works.
why would the power that he gave Silver Surfer even work on?
Yeah,
Galactus?
Hitler gave those guys guns.
That's
I'm
true.
just saying, you give power to people because you don't expect them to use it wrong against you.
Yeah.
You expect them to use it against other people because you're telling them to.
Yeah.
Because you're powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful people don't understand, like, well, what if I just killed him for it? Like, and neither did, like, the unpowerful residents of that planet Galactus saved.
Yeah.
They were like, wow, I've been spared by a god.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to use my godlike powers to keep my planet alive.
But
You're a bad person for risking that because what if he isn't strong enough to fight Galactus and you're like, well, he should have tried, and then his whole planet's obliterated.
Well, I never. No, he said I could do
Although
it.
when I was watching the episode today,
Yeah.
he literally gives him amnesia right away. And Silver Surfer, doing all this for the planet, goes, what about that planet? And Galactus is like, nah. And I'm like, but Galactus could have just eaten the planet anyway.
Oh my god, that'd be so dark. That'd be amazing. Let's
It
do
is
that.
funny because the whole thing, he's like, I'm going to do this and I'll look for planets that don't have intelligent life. But then Galactus gives him amnesia and he's like, yeah, there's a planet over there with a lot of things in there. You can eat it.
No, that's so sad. I love it.
Wait, why is Galactus such a moral, upstating guy that he's just like, well, I'm going to spare that planet, even though
He's not.
Yeah, he's not.
he should have just eaten it.
No, it's deals don't. So you're like, never do business with this person.
What if he gets his memories back? You gotta make sure that planet's
What if
still
he
there.
realizes he has the power to kill Galactus with his board or whatever? You know, then he might do it because he has a reason to. Right now,
But
he
yeah,
doesn't.
the Silver Surfer kills him.
Man, men plays the laws of power like out of if a
Although my
13-year-old wrote it.
retcon in my head was just like, if they did do a sequel, like, did he just teleport him somewhere? I thought maybe that's how they would explain it later. But no, yeah, he kills Galactus, who's in the cloud. He just rides a cloud, I guess. I guess that's their
like
version of the
dissipates?
spaceship. Yeah.
which would have like twisted the earth and spilled.
But yeah, by the way,
oceans
the size of the cloud, how big it is next to the Earth, I'm like, just him being there would destroy the planet.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to like do anything.
Maybe I have the boys poisoning, right? but I kind of think like a part of this franchise is it's about science.
Yeah.
And who knows what happens when science occurs.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what happens when a giant fucking cloud, like a solar flare will take out power in New York.
Yeah.
So what happens when a cloud disperses in the
have to-
atmosphere and like sends rocks at us?
You would have to read to be like, normally this should rip the Earth apart. They must have some weird field on there stopping it.
I would have, if I were writing it, had Reed explain, like, just
I
like,
did-
you
by the
gotta
way-
save the planet, though. Put a Sue, put a force field over it.
By the way, I like that.
No.
I like that they're just like, the Silver Surfer has to go and make holes in the planet for Galactus. He has to
For no reason, because he doesn't have the tentacle chair.
He has he has cloud tentacles that go into
That's
them.
so dumb. I can't even fathom it. What do clouds pull up?
Now, Galactus being
It's not a tube.
Yeah.
Water. Okay, bitch. Fuck you. You're right.
Evaporation.
You're right. He's stealing the water
Yeah.
from the planet.
So Galactus being a cloud, bad. Dr. Doom not being green, bad.
Bad.
Jessica Alba didn't want to dye her hair again, so she wears a very blonde wig.
Yeah.
But then they also brightened the shit out of her blue contacts and also whitened her even more. She looks weird and creepy in this. Like,
Just uncanny.
and the worst part is they show like publicity images from the first movie in it on a TV screen, then cuts
To
her,
show
and I'm like,
just how
oh my
uncanny
god,
it
don't
is."
show me the before and after. The after is so horrifying. She looks really creepy, and she's hard to look at, and she's gorgeous. She's in real life, she was gorgeous, but like they try to whiten her up so much, and that wig is so bad, and the eyes are the ones that creep me out the most. I'm like, I don't like any of this.
I didn't think
like
the
the
eyes
eyes.
were that bad until the scene of her talking to Alicia
No.
about her like wedding jitters or whatever. Like, this is
Yeah.
how life's always going to be. It's like, yeah, bitch. And her eyes are really blue
Yeah.
in that shot. I'm like, okay, you guys got to tone it down. a
I
little.
think it's the eyeshadow specifically.
Yeah, she
I-
had blue eye shadow that time.
Yeah. I will say I wish I had the power to make zits and pimples invisible. That would have been nice.
It's a good bit.
She does that.
And Mitt wishes she had that power.
Oh, me too.
Pimple face
Maybe
motherfucker.
if I had that power, I wouldn't have to wear Band-Aids on my nose. Oh, I'm sorry. That's from when I get into fights, not pimples. I wear Band-Aids on my nose because I get into fights because I'm manly.
Masculine.
Yeah.
Inner-
Not because I keep getting pimples on my nose and it's driving me nuts. I would love to make them invisible. It'll be great.
Just take a knife to your face. It's done. It's good. What's
That
cooler,
makes
a
it
scar
worse.
or a pimple?
Yeah. This movie didn't do well. And it had no other superhero competition, I think. I don't think anything else came out in 2007.
2007, not a big year for
Yeah.
superhero movies. Well, they just
Halo
canceled
3
Spider-Man
came
4,
out,
right?
though.
Is that-
Oh, no.
Spider-Man 3 came out.
Spider-Man 3 was
And they're like, we're not
2007.
doing 4 now.
Well, no,
So
they were.
maybe-
No, they were going to do 4.
Were they still going to do 4 after
Yeah, they
that?
announced in 2009 they were going to do a 4. And then it
Oh,
didn't
shit.
happen,
So
yeah.
the reception to that movie didn't kill 4?
No, because 3 made a shit ton of money, even if it wasn't
I guess just because they threw so
Yeah.
many characters in there.
Yeah. They could have maybe limped on with the 4th one. They could have rebounded and learned.
Interesting.
But it took too long for them to get it started and they rebooted it. But no, this one was even PG. It's not even PG-13 like the previous one. So it should have had even more ticket sales.
I remember there being a lot of cursing in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't do well at all. So they canceled the follow-up and they canceled the Silver Surfer spin-off movie, which I would have really liked if Galactus was really Galactus in it.
And then they sat around until Chronicle came out. And they said,
Yeah.
wait, we could do this.
Yeah, they sat around. It died. Fantastic Four went away. And then the superhero boom, like the MCU comes along and makes everything huge.
And now we
And
got
then
Captain Americas and Thors and shit.
Yes, and X-Men had rebounded at this point.
There's the Fox X-Men.
Yeah, because the X-Men was on its way down with 3 and X-Men Origins.
One of the best Wolverine movies ever made.
But it rebounded with First Class and Days of Future Past. So they decided, you know what? We're back, baby.
Yeah.
Let's-
I went to see Apocalypse in theaters. I remember like right around then, like that 2013, 2016 was like such an X-Men era.
Yeah. Yeah, we just did Apocalypse recently. Rough.
I fell asleep in the theaters during that one.
However, famous, I think I have the magazine over there. Famously,
Yeah.
this is when Fox was like, you know, we have a bunch of Marvel properties too. So guess what? We're going to have our own MCU. And they did the big picture with the X-Men Apocalypse crew, the 2015 Fantastic Four crew, and Channing Tatum as Gambit. Only 2 of those movies got made.
Yeah, Gambit never came out, Mint. That's why it's kind of like quirky and cute that he's in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
'Cause it's his wish fulfillment. You know what I mean?
But this leads us to Josh Trank's 2015 Fant 4 Stick.
This was a bad movie, Tony.
Well, let me read the back here. Hold on.
Tony, can you show the audience what you're reading again?
Yeah, when
you
I don't
just-
have the movie, I print it out. Guys, the Fantastic Four make a triumphant return with Marvel's next generation of heroes. 4 young outsiders who teleport to an alternate universe. Their physical forms altered in shocking ways. Their lives changed forever. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. And Ben Grimm, the Thing, must harness their incredible new powers and work together to save Earth from a former friend turned enemy, the infamous Dr. Doom.
You know, I know that no one listening to me will agree with this, and I know that it's why everything's bad now, but you guys, Stan Lee would be like, they're fantastic powers, and every one of you out there going, that's too on the nose, corny, you're why everything's bad now. Everything's like all clever and cutesy and doesn't need to be. They're fantastic. They have fantastic powers. That's the fucking pitch.
Yeah.
I hate that. I didn't care when she was reading it off, but after 4 movie boxes, and they didn't use the word fantastic, I'm like, do you guys know how Stan Lee
The
marketed
last
this?
one did.
Do you guys know how this became world famous? It wasn't by like going, I'm ashamed of how silly it is, and I don't want to talk about it. Like, that's not how.
So this one, you're right. Chronicle did really well. Josh Trank directed it.
Yes.
And then, so this is like in this era of superheroes.
Poor Josh Trank, man.
Yeah. This era of superheroes, it's like the MCU is, they finally, you know, they had a rough start a little bit, finding
I mean,
the
but
footing.
it's huge. The Avengers 2014.
Yes, yes.
It's at its peak right now.
Yes.
In quality.
They
and-
figured out like the formula at that point
Yeah.
where it's like fun, jokey, a little serious at times. It's well balanced. It works. Everyone else at that point decided we're going to be like Christopher Nolan's Batman. It's like, well, that works for Batman. It could work for other villains, but...
Well, Man of Steel happened right around then, and it didn't work for him.
Yeah, they did it to Man of Steel, and then even the Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're right.
Was a little bit more
grimdark.
serious and grim, and then this one, they're like, hey, the Fantastic Four, hey, being colorful and fun didn't work. I'm like, well, no, there were other issues with those movies. Wasn't the colorful and fun, really. They're like, so we're gonna go the opposite and make it dark and dreary. And they should have made it more like their X-Men movies. I don't know why they went in this direction. So.
It's not the Goth Four, it's the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So Josh Trank directs, and he famously had like a weird meltdown on set. I think Matthew...
Yeah. He famously had a couple on set.
I think Matthew Vaughn was involved with this, who did, he directed First Class, and, he helped with the newer X-Men movies. I think he came on late in production and did a bunch of reshoots. They changed the whole ending of the movie. They added extra scenes, and you can tell when Sue Storm goes from just having like natural blonde dyed hair to a very obvious wig that doesn't match at all. Not at all, because Kate Mara ended up, I think she cut her hair for something. It was like a famous disaster behind the scenes. And then I think a week before it came out, Josh Trank went on Twitter and was just like,
yeah. This is going to be really bad, and I didn't do it. It's not
he's
my
like,
fault.
a year ago, I made a great movie that everyone would have loved, and blah, blah. And he quickly deleted it because there was a term where they're like, hey, don't trank it.
Yes.
So you know how David Ayer now, David Ayer now wants a Suicide Squad cut.
Yeah.
And he talks about all the things that were bad, all the things that happened. He talks about it now. When Suicide Squad came out, he was like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, it's great.
Well, now
because he didn't want to go around bad mouthing because he wouldn't get a fucking movie again.
He's relegated to Jason Statham movies now anyway. So.
Well, the problem is he ended up doing Bright for Netflix and.
So, okay, there is a missing component to some of these things too, where it's Bright's really bad, and Chronicle's really good, and Fantastic Four is really bad. And what squares this circle? A guy named Max Landis who has nothing to fucking do with this Fantastic Four movie or the Bright movie. It's like, that guy made that good, and you guys are doing this wrong.
Wait, Max Landis wrote Bright, right?
He wrote Bright, but they took it from him and changed it.
Oh, yeah.
And so
no, he mentions that. I think he mentions
He says it's the least like any of his scripts he's turned in.
Yeah.
It's the most changed of any of his projects.
Didn't he also say about Victor Frankenstein, I think, was completely changed?
Yeah, but then he kind of defends the MK Ultra or whatever. No, what was it? What was his
not MK Ultra, American Ultra.
Yeah, American Ultra, sorry, yeah.
MK Ultra was something else.
MK Ultra. The chemical.
Yeah, so it definitely wanted to lean into the Chronicle thing. So they went into this going, we're going to make a body horror thing. It's going to be more like the Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Reed Richards is just pulled right from the Ultimate Fantastic Four. So
he's got a shitty family life, I think.
He's a dumb ass.
Tim Heidecker is his dad, right?
He has a neglectful, stupid people family life. Like Sheldon.
And we learned that
they don't know how smart he is in the garage.
Then we learned that his friend Ben is getting bullied by Chet Hanks, the creator of White Boy Summer. It's Tom Hanks' son. The line, okay, so the first one, Ben just says clobbering time.
It's clobbering time.
The Tim Story one, Johnny Storm has a toy that says it's clobbering time.
The Corman one, he says it 3 times in a row, which takes the impact away from how good the first one was.
But he just says it. That's just something he says.
It's clobbering time. Yeah.
But and then the 2005 one, Johnny has a toy of the thing that says it's clobbering time. So he repeats it afterwards.
It's clobbering time.
In this one, the origin of its clobbering time is from Ben Grimm's older brother beating the shit out of him regularly.
Hey, clobbering time. What'd you think?
He says it's clobbering time.
That's pretty good.
It is that nihilistic sort of hey, this fun thing? We're gonna make it dark. We're gonna make sometimes that works.
Reed's neglected and this one's abused and
you're used to seeing this
and
way.
Sue's adopted, so she has a bunch of weird problems with her identity that she didn't have in the other things. And Johnny, he's not adopted, so he hates his dad and he's an asshole and
he's hot-headed. Yeah, this one, like,
I'm so glad we're done with race cars, like, because that's worse than dirt bikes. Dirt bikes was more unique and interesting for Johnny Storm.
it was more of the time.
But like, oh, I drive cars. It's like, oh God, what did Fast and Furious do to us? That is race cars. Because remember, the Flash did that with Wally West.
Yeah.
The way you knew he was going to become a Flash is that he liked to
really
drive
liked
fast.
racing. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it really is like ashamed of the Fantastic Four and just wants to change.
It's not a Fantastic Four movie.
This is worse than Rian Johnson's Last Jedi. Like,
oh yeah,
Rian Johnson says he loves Star Wars, and maybe he does. It's just his view of Star Wars is so off from everyone else's.
He wanted to make a murder mystery where Luke was killed by someone, and they didn't approve of it.
Yeah, I believe Rian Johnson probably does love Star Wars. It's just his version is not compatible with everyone else. Josh Trank clearly didn't like it. From what I read, I think his exposure was the 94 cartoon, which isn't great, as we mentioned.
Well, and what makes Chronicles so great is that there's like this earnestness to the way that each of the three characters evaluate and like develop their abilities. That Max wrote, and Josh Trank's filming of it didn't like impact that much.
Yeah.
And so you don't have any of the heart in this.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Michael B. Jordan in the deal, I think, but they didn't get like much else out of that.
He also wanted to make Sue black. He wanted to make them like all black, basically. And I think the studio was like, you get one. With the last guy,
They should have had Tim Story make that one.
The last guy got to make one of them Latina. I'm sorry, Latinx. That's what you have to call them now. And then this one, you can make one of them black. You can't change any of them. That's it. And then the new one, they're like, look, only one of them could be Chilean. All right, that's it, just the one. But yeah, so and then they got what's his face? Hold on, who played Jamie Bell to be the thing? All right, so the Fantastic Four, it's Miles Teller as Reed.
Yeah.
Jamie Bell,
which I mean, I don't know who Jamie Bell is still.
He's in a bunch of stuff. He was in like the 2005 King Kong. He's Billy Elliot, the movie about the boy who does ballet. That's like an older one. He was in some
perfect casting.
Huh?
That's my main Graham. What the fuck?
I guess he was motion capture anyway. They're like, let's just bring him in for like a few scenes, and then he just voices it the rest. It was a weird choice. And then Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. And then they got Toby Kebbell as Victor Domislav. Fans realized that they revealed early on that his last name was changed, and fans bitched. So that's one of the obvious redubs and reshoots when they changed it back to Victor Von Doom.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any...
Again, total shame, right? It's like, hey guys, his name is Von Doom because he's evil. Isn't that a little on the nose? Yes. Yeah, enjoy it.
Why do they feel the need to change stuff?
Sinestro's name is Sinister.
Yeah.
Okay, it's cool. It's fine.
And he looks like Hitler because he's bad.
Yeah.
And look, again...
Thanks, EVS.
There are exceptions. Sometimes you can change things and it works. Sometimes. Not all the time. Again, this is one of the
Michael
times...
B. Jordan worked. He was fine.
That worked for you?
Best part of the movie.
None of them work for me.
He's just the best part of the movie. I'm not saying that.
Out of the four, he's the best. And I really like Kate Mara around this time. She's my favorite of the Maras.
I would like to see Johnny Storm of both of these worlds interact. Like I would, if in the next Deadpool or whatever, when they get really desperate again and Chris Evans needs money again.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Michael B. Jordan and Chris Evans argue about their mistaken identities.
Yeah.
The four characters they played.
That'd be fun. But no, I really like
Easy
Kate Mara, and she's not good in this.
No,
I like
House of Cards chick. She's really good in that.
Yeah, and the actor who plays their dad, who plays Franklin Richards, he's now dead. But he was also in Luke Cage. He was also in House of Cards. He was in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I really liked him. He's a good voice. And then the music for this is like Philip Glass and...
So, real quick, the thing about the family relation in this one, like the way that he's grooming his own Sue Storm. The adopted dad is grooming her to be a scientist.
Yeah.
Instead of being an orphanage running mom, we have like a dad who's like, yeah, my daughter works on super weapons grade materials with me, and we're doing crazy shit the government barely approves of.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane, isn't it?
Yeah, that is fucked. The music is Marco Beltrami and Philip Glass, and I love Philip Glass's music. And I've listened to a lot of Marco Beltrami scores.
It was underwhelming.
That's the thing. These two together, this should have been the most memorable. This should be like Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard of Batman Begins.
Atticus Ross and that other guy and all the things they do.
Sure. And I couldn't tell you what the theme of this film is. The music is just nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a waste of Philip Glass. Holy shit.
Incredibly forgettable. I don't remember the soundtrack at all.
Exactly. And then we're back. We're back to changing the Mole Man. Tim Blake Nelson was supposed to play the Mole Man.
Really?
Whose real name was, the Mole Man's name is Harvey or Harry Elder or something.
That's not what I got from Tim Blake's performance at all.
Well, that's because they changed it, Riley. So then they changed his last name and blew his fucking head up because they decided he's not the Mole Man, actually. And then it's like, all right, so we wasted, he's kind of the villain for a lot of the movie before Doom shows up.
Yeah.
And we wasted the villain on some guy. And now that I know he's supposed to be the Mole Man, now I'm just thinking, like, how the fuck did we get there? I don't understand how he becomes the Mole Man.
Do you think we're getting a Mole Man in the new one?
I think it's confirmed. Wasn't, oh shit, who's playing him?
Confirmed?
Who's playing him?
Yeah, I understand. I'm not following the news on the new one.
I think John Malkovich is.
Oh, that's actually fun.
I believe, I don't know if it's rumored. I thought there were pictures of it. John Malkovich will have like a small part as Mole Man in it.
I
could be wrong.
No, hey, if that happens,
I think I remember
that's good.
hearing about this.
If Tony's wrong, we're not going to let him hear the end of it, are we, Chad?
So I saw this in 2015. Me and my ex at the time, we had been following the production. We knew it was going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
So like, we got to see this. And I got hammered. And we're like, let's go see Fantastic Four. And then we walked out. And we're like, that was more boring than bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But it was more just like dull. Because you could see like the two different tones of like, we're rejecting this cartooniness and we want to be serious and show how horrifying this. And then you see them trying to fix it by adding in one-liners and extra action scenes.
Like Suicide Squad did.
Yes. And then like jokies and then a
Just
blue
doesn't
laser at the end and a fight for no reason. So like both are just clashing.
Honestly, the worst part is how they get their powers. It's like Sue's manning.
Yeah, she's not there on the adventure.
Yeah, and she somehow gets their powers because radiation leaks.
She's there. She gets hit by the blast. So and
the energy when they come back, whatever.
So
it's stupid.
They do the negative zone instead of the cloud, which is from Ultimate, right?
It's just really bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. We don't need multidimensional.
Wait. First they send a chimpanzee over, and I think it's like recycled a model from the Planet of the Apes movies because that was also Fox. So they send an ape over and it comes back fine.
Yeah.
And they're like,
because it didn't get out and run around and play grab ass.
Yeah.
Fucking.
So they decide they're going to send a team, but not them.
Yeah. And that upsets all the egotistical little boys in the room.
Okay. So Reed being responsible for everyone's powers. Usually that is a thing.
Yeah.
But it's usually like, we were on this together. It was my idea. I feel bad that I couldn't have predicted this and this all happened to us. Reed is responsible for all their powers because he's a drunk asshole.
Yeah. Well, that's the Ultimate's influence for you. Reed Richards is a stupid asshole who thinks everybody else is stupid for not giving him opportunity and money.
Yeah.
And that he would make a better thing and do a better thing than anyone else could.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm ready. I'm going to drink right now. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's go.
Oh,
Victor.
yeah. They're just like all drunk.
Yeah. He drinks with Victor, which is like Victor's influence. I like that.
Yeah.
But then deciding to go over there and not, he should have been the reluctant guy saying, let's not do it.
Yeah.
He didn't. And then when they're over there, he's like, yeah, let's go explore.
Yeah.
While we're drunk on our first time over here
and let
ever.
me call Ben, who helped me build
Let me
the
invite
old
this guy
model,
who has nothing to do with this and ruin his life.
and he gets it the worst. And then we're just not going to bring Sue because we know she doesn't want to do it.
And that's so stupid.
And then
she just ends up working there anyway at night, and she just gets dragged into
yeah.
it.
So they get to the negative zone. Doom falls into green glowy goo. That will make him green later.
He's like the Joker.
Yeah, and then when they're in their pods trying to go back, a piece of fire goes into Johnny's pod. Rocks go into Ben's pod.
Rocks from the destruction.
And then I guess Reed is fighting with the door, so he's not all the way in it, and I guess he's stretching. And then when they get back, the transparent blast hits Sue, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Worst way they get their powers.
That was so stupid.
I actually didn't see that the first time I saw this because I also watched in 2015.
Yeah.
But I used to go to the movies as an excuse to canoodle in the car. So we'd go in, we'd
Why
watch
did you even bother with the movie?
strict parents that aren't mine. So we would go see the movie for 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then just spend like an hour in my car.
Wait, where'd the car come from?
Well, my car was out in the parking lot.
But then, whose parents were strict?
Her parents. But,
Did they have to watch you guys go in the theater?
we just had to we bought tickets and stuff. We'd go in there. I think that one of the people that they would check in with, because they go to the movies a lot, just worked there and would tell them if we were going in or not, I think was the idea. I don't know that we had to actually have gone all the way to the theater, but it was our practice. We'd go to the movies for an hour and leave. So I got to skip them getting their powers stuff all the way through the body horror, all the way to I come back in and they're in the woods. And he's why didn't you look for us? And it's so I thought maybe it's a traditional Reed feels bad, so he... But no. Reed ruins everybody's life, and then he runs away.
And
then he does not even try to come back to help Ben.
No, he's sitting
he's such
in
a
the
bad
woods
guy,
building a thing.
Bro, he causes all of this, and then he doesn't. He's like, well, it'd be better if I wasn't around.
And I guess there was there is a character moment at the end where he's pinned down by Dr. Doom and he's looking at everyone and they're in the same positions they were before. I'm like, in a better movie, this would have worked.
Yeah. In a better movie.
But no, he really is just an asshole. And I think there's added stuff there because they are very green screened in that woods. And I'm like, this is an added scene.
So, this is where you've been hiding out.
Wait, stop. Okay, let me explain.
They misused Miles Teller because he could do it.
Also, I felt like they were embarrassed by the stretchy stuff, so he barely does it. And when he does, he's
wearing the outfit all the time. Full...
they're all wearing their outfits at all times.
But you never see the skin thing because he's got his homemade rings he made. So
you see it first when he's first in the body horror segment.
To be fair, yes. I just now have seen that. I didn't see it the first time.
Yes.
I missed that.
So they all have to wear their suits at all times because it's the only thing that stabilizes them because they can't control it.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
But also, it's interesting how it takes a year of them, except for Reed, learning how to use their own powers at this government facility of some kind.
Yeah.
Reed's smart enough to have perfected all of it alone.
Yeah.
So why didn't he go help his friends?
No.
It really makes you think less of Reed,
I think it's implied that he was going to make sure it worked and then would go back and fix them.
I don't know.
But that's not family, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't care. I'm that's too far.
So yeah, they only show him stretch a little bit. He never goes crazy with the stretching.
There's no gags. It's not I'm brushing my teeth or getting my coffee. There's no gags.
It's not I'm pulling toilet paper out from the other room.
Yeah, that was a really good joke in Fantastic Four Silver Surfer.
No, it was the first one.
Was that the first one?
Yeah. I forgot he had powers at some point.
And he's not particularly smart either.
No. Also, okay, were they doing a high school science fair in the beginning? Because they looked way too old for high school.
I think they're doing a college fair, but colleges don't have that. They don't have
No, I think it was supposed to be high school. I think that
high
felt like high school.
Because now he's going
either.
to college in this place, isn't he? Moved there to go to school there.
It feels like high school.
Yeah.
Maybe it's college.
Wait, I thought science fairs were just
there was a little kid next to him.
and middle school thing.
Well, first of all, let's be honest. I'm sure that we have a blind spot here, and there are community science fairs.
Maybe.
Because there's a little kid he borrowed the toy plane from.
Yeah.
They're not in school together.
Yeah, maybe it was a community science fair.
At the old gymnasium at the high school.
There are places like that.
Yeah.
But they're more
Yeah, they're called
impressive.
fucking scientific communities, asshole, and you're not part of them.
It's just
you know how you guys have toy conventions and sex work conventions? I'm sure they have fucking science gatherings, guys.
Are there toys and sex at them?
No.
No, I don't go to them because
robotics.
of that.
I went once in elementary school. There's robotics and stuff.
See, yeah, so it's a science fair, whatever.
Nerd.
I wasn't in robotics.
Then what were you doing there? Why are you appropriating robotic culture?
Oh, it's because I was there with my school and they needed my class, and my teacher was like, I need a couple volunteers. I was like, I'll volunteer any excuse to get out of school. And so I went there and it was I think we were doing some sort of Jeopardy or something.
Okay.
And I just walked around a bunch, and there's a lot of science stuff there.
Science stuff.
Science, all
Science
sorts
rules.
all sorts of science stuff you can imagine, including robotics. That's the one that stuck out to me the most.
What was your favorite science?
Has to have been the robotics, because everything else is like mostly just marketing. Like, hey, we're doing tech jobs. We're here to like tell you about our tech positions that we have open. Do you want to sign up? And I was like, no, I'm 9 at that time. So
you could have been ahead of the curb.
Can I just say about that science fair that they're at?
Yeah.
The idea, like, this is not magic, this is science. We're not taking magic here. No, I've seen people get very rewarded for magic trick type behavior. Like fucking science clock, like potato clocks and volcanoes. That's not magic, it's a chemical compound. Yeah. This magic trick could be like a chemical thing. I just don't like how little interest he had in that.
I know. That was dumb.
If something disappeared and instead of its place was dirt, I would go, whoa, that was impressive for some reason.
Yeah.
Even if it's mnemonic tubes doing the replacement joke, it's still fucking
You did a good job
experiment.
tricking us.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been fine. But yeah, so...
Should have given him like a B or something, not disqualified.
Yeah.
Like
Again, so there's really no bad guy for the movie.
No.
Other than Tim Blake Nelson for most of the movie. And even then, he's like stringing them along. He gave Ben a false promise. Ben is just a soldier.
Well, the bad guy in this one's Reed, unfortunately.
Yeah,
They
really.
kind of did that.
Yeah. But like Ben has become a soldier. He's just going around killing people around the world.
Yeah. Which, he would do, probably.
And they do it to promise him that they'll make him better. Johnny loves the fire powers.
Yeah.
He thinks he should be doing. He's like, maybe we have this for a reason. And then Sue is like, we are horrifying monsters. And also my hair keeps changing. Ignore it. But we have to fix this.
You're the least of the horrifying monster.
Yeah.
You can just turn invisible.
And also, she does fly in this. I don't think Jessica Alba ever flew with the force field.
No, I like that she can fly. That she flies in this one. Well, Jessica Alba did the thing where she was walking back into the fountain.
A little bit,
doesn't
yeah.
Step into it. She just stands there on the field.
Yeah. That's a little different.
She did that. But it's the same idea. That's the mechanic.
Yeah. And then Reed comes back. There's confrontation between Reed and them. They're always arguing about like what the government will let them do. The dad is trying to make sure they're all working together. It's like it's kind of all over the place. And then Dr. Doom comes back and he's fused with his suit.
Yeah.
Which is even worse than the other version.
Don't they fuck around and go? Like,
they send another
thing over.
They send another
It's not even Dr. Doom's back.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Doom was minding his own business somewhere far away from all these people he doesn't like.
Yeah.
And Reed and the government won't leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah. So yeah, Doom
Doom's
hates
the good guy, bro.
Doom hates the government. I think there was like a Latveria flag in it, but they don't really address Latveria at all. So we never really know why he hates the government other than he does. And believe me, I love to hate the government. Yeah, I would love to hate the government. I just want to know his reasons for hating the government.
You don't want to give the government power.
Yeah.
I can understand that right away.
Yeah.
Why let them go somewhere? Wait, wasn't environmentalism shit?
I think it was a little bit of that
he's
too.
like,
He's
you know,
like
they're
the
gonna
planet's
destroy the other
destroyed.
planet.
Yeah. Then he's going to destroy this beautiful planet with the green lava that made me a metal
it's beautiful
guy.
To him, a dark, twisted, fucked up person.
Yeah. And I like Toby Kebbell. He's a good actor, but
yeah.
They
did Doom the best in this.
Really?
No, sorry. Of the 4 characters in this movie, they did Doom the best. Not they did Doom the best in this movie of the 4.
I hated Dr. Doom in this. Because he comes back with weird powers, like I can blow up your brain, but I won't do that to the Fantastic Four for some reason. Why doesn't he just blow up their brains when he can just stare at people?
Well, he doesn't even seem to want to kill them so much as just break their toys. Like, he wants to break their toys so they can't come back.
I guess. I mean,
I think he wants to be alone. It's very separatist.
Yeah.
It's very like, leave me alone, please.
Yeah. It's very bizarre. But yeah, there's that. I mean, it is a cool scene where he's walking around exploding everyone's heads.
Yeah.
And he looks creepy and scary. I'm like, I would like that in a horror movie, not Fantastic Four.
Well, it's that Chronicle influence where they're like, this works. Horror superpowers are horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, look, he actually knocked a car off the bridge. Look, he actually popped heads.
Look, that worked for Chronicle, which was supposed to be like subverting and playing with the tropes.
Bingo.
But you don't have to do it for the actual Fantastic Four. Like Man of Steel was stupid. Brightburn, I think, was like a evil Superman thing that kind of like explored like a darker Superman, and Homelander.
Evil Smallville. It's not quite an evil Superman.
And then The Boys is doing like, what if this guy was like that? But you don't have to do it for the real one.
Yeah.
Again, There are times where it can work, or if you completely change a character, like Blade.
Vote up the boys.
I think what it is, I think your character just needs to be incredibly lame, and then you can do a Blade and change him, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
When we did Superman 2, I looked back at like the very first General Zod, and it's stupid. He looks more like Bizarro, and he has like robots, and he has like a green jacket and just like underwear. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad the movie changed Zod, and every Zod since then has just been that movie Zod.
A militaristic Terrence stamp.
I mean, he was technically a general, but like it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't like Doom in this. And again, I don't know what the original plan would have been, Riley, but his big plan is to make a laser to destroy the world.
But he's on the world. So he's want to
Well,
kill
no, he
himself?
goes back
he's
to the
going
negative
back.
zone. He's
Yeah,
going
he
to
goes back
convert the
there.
matter to energy to make his planet even stronger.
Yeah.
And we get a blue laser.
We do get a famous blue laser.
And like, by the way, the blue laser was heavily criticized at this point. So
of course it was.
I went back. I think it wasn't blue, but Hellboy was the first superhero I could think of where there's a laser going into the sky, opening a portal.
Yeah.
And
What's
then,
the most recent one you saw?
Huh?
What's the latest one you saw? What's the most recent blue sky portal?
Have they
fucking
done one
laser?
since?
Yaira did for the live action Yaira trailer. Have you seen one since?
Not
it feels like
since.
everybody else got the note that that's fucking stupid, didn't they?
Yeah,
Everyone
because
but-
what was it? It was
everyone but the Yaira trailer guys.
Yeah. After that, it was there was Star Trek had the laser pointing at the Earth, but
Okay,
still
yeah.
death laser.
But still, big laser in the sky.
Big laser.
Sky laser.
Well, I think Battleship might have had a space laser. Avengers had the space laser. Transformers 3 had space lasers opening a portal to Cybertron, and then Man of Steel had the laser pointing to the ground. Sometimes they'll change the direction of the laser.
Yeah.
And look, I know Star Wars did it, but Star Wars gets a pass
I was
because
gonna
that
say
kind of
Star Wars,
invented
but-
the space laser blowing up a planet. But by the time Fantastic Four came out, it's like, oh my God, with the fucking space laser
Could you
portal.
imagine almost 10 years later doing a blue space laser in your own short film?
Yeah, be pretty embarrassing. And again, that is all reshoots. I've seen the set pictures. So that car that Reed is working on,
Yeah.
in the original set leaks, they're all driving it. That's like that hunk of junk becomes the Fantastic Car, like their version of the Fantastic Car.
Should have just been a Jeep or a tank. Give him a tank.
And I don't know what was going to be originally in that version. I remember reading stuff like, hey, since everyone likes X-Men again,
Yeah.
are they going to have any references to the X-Men? But I think during production, they were like, this might be a one and done. Don't link it to the X-Men. Just don't link it to the X-Men at all.
Something let them know during production that the
Yeah. Matthew Vaughn, the guy who brought back X-Men, went been like, I'm going to do my best, but let's not make any long-term plans around this.
Again, I feel bad for Josh Trank for being part of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I know that he's like a competent filmmaker.
He's done one since with my co-star from The Dark Knight Rises, Tom Hardy. They did an Al Capone movie together, but
I'll have to check that out.
It didn't look like he got the best reviews, but maybe it's okay. I
never heard him speak out about it other than the freaking out about it.
He reviewed it
and-
afterwards. Wait, keep talking. I think he reviewed it afterwards.
But I know that like after his freak out and stuff, he went really quiet for a couple months. And Max Landis kept getting asked, like, because they're collaborators, like, hey, what do you think happened? And Max's take was pretty reasonable. It's like Josh was used to making low budget work, and like his first and only high budget film was Chronicle with like 6 or 7 million or something like that.
That sounds about right.
It's high budget to us, low budget for them. But he had almost no interference at all because they weren't like being bothered by a studio because it was low budget. And Max said that he himself tried to make it like a really easy experience for Josh to do this movie, where he as a writer wasn't like change this and change that, right?
Yeah.
And the new guy, the people he was working with on Fantastic Four did not give him the courtesy of, we're not just going to fuck with you and change shit all the time. They were like, hey, we're going to fuck with you and change it all the time. And this is what was it, 50 million, 500 million?
Something around there, probably.
It was between 50 and 100 million. It was like a big budget compared to Chronicle.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the Avengers, but it's nothing that Josh Trank could probably do.
Yeah.
You need to be in that studio environment to make studio films. You have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, and that was a problem they were doing. They still do it to this day. MCU does it. Like, hey, you did like an indie film. I feel bad for the
Wait
lady
for Sean Baker's next movie.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a $170 million film that he's going to fuck up.
Dude,
because Anora was good.
That lady who made Eternal, she like won an Oscar for
Yeah.
some movie. Then they're like, okay, you're gonna make fast CGI girl punches Superman.
That's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really.
They go, ooh, an Oscar winner. together. Let's ruin them.
Some make it work. Colin Trevorrow made it work with Jurassic World. I know the third one was bad, but like,
yeah,
but he got a Star Wars out of it, but there was so much going on with Star Wars that I think I remember hearing rumors that Josh Trank was supposed to do a Boba Fett movie. That didn't happen. You want to read? I want me to read Josh.
Well, he was supposed
Trank's
to do Power
review?
Rangers, and he just didn't get to do that either.
I think I didn't even get far. So yeah, in 2019 on Letterboxd, Josh Trank reviewed Fantastic Four.
Oh no, let's go.
He gave it 2 stars. He goes
optimistic.
Fant Four Stick, huh? That was annoying when they called it Fant Four Stick. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Graphic design is their passion. Took a lot of concerted to come up with Fant Four Stick.
Here we go. Okay, first of all, I thought it would be great if I searched Fantastic Four 2015 and the shit wasn't even on here. Low key, I kind of was hoping it wasn't, but it was, and I'm here. Anyway, where to begin? The movie is all right. I was expecting
4 years later, meant
he's also a little biased.
Yeah. I was expecting it to be much worse than it was. I literally haven't seen it since like 2 weeks before it came out, and I was in a heavily fucking traumatized state of mind. Why? Save that for another time. He apparently like had dogs and they just destroyed a rental home they had for him. He caused like $300,000 in damage.
Wait, how do they must be really poorly trained dogs.
I just answered it. Don't do that to me. The dogs would have to be really poorly trained to do that.
Then why do you have poorly trained dogs?
Because he was making a movie.
And he was
why do you have dogs in the first place?
These are all
they're
rumors.
Man's best friend.
But don't deal with the responsibility unless you don't have.
You're saying I should.
Let's not get hung up on the dogs. I want to finish the review.
Okay.
Anyway, movie review. Great cast. It was a good cast.
Yeah.
Great cast.
Everyone in the film is a great actor, and overall, there is a movie in there somewhere, and that cast deserves to be in that movie. Everyone who worked on Fant Four Stick clearly wanted to be making that movie, but ultimately, it wasn't. Did I make that movie they deserve to be in? To be honest, I can't tell. What I can tell is that there are two different movies in one movie competing to be that movie, which I talked about earlier. Is there a hashtag release the Trank cut? Doesn't matter. I'm not Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is a storied, iconic, legendary film. He has like 2 good movies at the most. I know Snyder fans are all going to cry. He has 2 good movies at the most.
Which 2?
Dawn of the Dead, which James Gunn wrote.
Yeah.
And 300 was okay. I enjoy 300.
Okay, yeah. I would say Watchmen and 300, but
no,
I'm one of the few people who actually
fucked up. He fucked up the end of the Watchmen.
Whatever. You adapted. That would have been so fucking dumb.
Watchmen the movie is boring until the end.
Yeah, she actually likes the new ending more than the canonical one.
We'll get to Watchmen one day.
Whatever. Yeah, we'll do Watchmen. Okay. I want to be Rorschach for that one.
I'm not. Oh yeah, he's an iconic, legendary filmmaker. This is pre Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon.
Okay.
Who has been knocking it out of the fucking park since I was in high school?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you like everything from 300 on,
I guess. Me, then, I was 29 years old, making my second film in a situation more complicated than anything a second-time filmmaker should have walked into. That said, I don't regret any of it. It's a part of me. I just hope Peyton Reed makes the next Fantastic Four. Oh, that's right. Peyton Reed was going to do it, and then I think, whatchamacallit? I think the guy who does the Spider-Man movies was going to do it, and neither of them did it.
Mark Webb,
crushes it. And then I get a cameo. So he's trying to get a part in the movie. Anyway, that's it. Fant Four Stick.
He's got to walk in and tell Pedro Pascal, like, here's your mail. That'd be good. I'd like that. Stan Lee's not around anymore. Can we get Trank's cameos going? That'd be cute.
We should.
Can we put Josh Trank in every Marvel movie?
You know what? I'd probably have an easier time getting Josh Trank on the show than Ethan Van Sciver because I'm not doing a good job at it.
No.
Well,
you should start pursuing Josh Trank and then see which one comes on the show first.
That's true.
That'd be fun.
I should. I'll ask him if he wants to do Chronicles.
Dude, get Landis on here. You could 100% get Max Landis to do a podcast.
I probably could.
You could.
Do people still hate him?
Yeah, he's been waiting for Friends for 4.5 years, 6 years. Whenever our friends cut him off, whenever our friends canceled Max Landis, he's been waiting that long for Friends again, guys. So Andy Signore, you can talk to him again.
Yeah, Andy, can you?
The woman took back the accusation. You also weren't guilty of your thing either.
Yeah, come on, Andy. Throw us a bone. Get Max Landis on the show.
No, I mean, I know that was Hal Rudnick's fault. Boy, Andy, get Max Landis on the show.
So yes, a Fant4stick. It's the first time I've watched it since seeing it in the theaters. So I was pretty hammered when I saw it the first time. And then I almost watched it last night, but someone gave me a cookie.
Yeah.
And then I decided I needed 2 Jack and Gingers, but then the bartender misheard me when I said I wanted water, and then I had a
Bro, you
Jack
guys
and
have had a
Coke.
hell of a weekend because she's at the place the night before that just getting like obliterated on mixed drinks.
Yeah.
That you're telling her
2 mixed drinks is not
4. You had
obliterated.
it was 4 wines
That's
equivalent.
not obliterated.
No, you were pretty rough, man.
You were
You
way
have
drunk.
not seen me way drunk.
Is that a
then.
threat? Are we getting drunk tonight?
Yes.
I woke up bright and early this morning.
Yes.
And I watched it with
And luckily
the
we were ready to
sound
record
body
right
in
away.
mind. And look, I mean, I can get what he's saying. There's a movie in there somewhere. It's not a movie I want to see. I feel like he deserves to have his vision at least seen. I don't think I'm still gonna like it. It's like when Zack Snyder did the Justice League. I remember thinking it was okay at the time, but then I rewatched it one time after this. I'm like, this isn't really that good. It's just way better than the other version,
Right.
but it's still not a movie I really wanted to see. Same thing with Josh Trank's. No, not Josh Trank. Ayer, David Ayer's Suicide
Yeah, I'm not
Squad.
dying to see the Ayer cut.
I feel like the best that Suicide Squad movie could be is on level with Thor: The Dark World. I don't think we're getting a great movie no matter what.
I mean, the best that David Ayer is doing is action movies with Jason Statham.
Yeah.
So
The Beekeeper, The Working Man. God, nobody wants that.
I want bees. What
Nobody
are you talking
saw
about?
that.
Nobody saw that.
Nobody saw that.
Oh, I haven't
Oh yeah,
seen
Chuck
it.
Dixon was bragging that it was like doing something better than
Yeah.
Snow White. I'm like, yeah, but it's not doing great. I mean, I think it's probably a low budget, so it doesn't like Beekeeper made money. I don't think
It's
a lot
part
of
of
people
some stupid like film like churn out deal that
Yeah.
Statham and Ayer have though. They're gonna do
Probably.
like 6 because Beekeeper made money.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean Levon's Trade Adapted made money. It
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
It's the next one might though, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna do a bunch of these.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't go out to see the re-release if they did that, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think if these movies that you're like sad you didn't get to see in their entirety and you got to see on HBO Max, if they were re-released in theaters, would you go pay to see them again? Like, I'm not gonna go see a fixed Madam Web either.
No.
Like, it's just if a movie's bad, it's probably bad. The ingredients are bad.
Yeah, not every movie's going to get better with a re-edit. Like, it's just going to
Well,
be a
it's-
different bad movie sometimes.
If you're gonna add stuff and change it, then you may not even know or change the thing that's bad about it. You might take the only good thing out of this and move it around. You might take the pacing from Justice League and make it 4.5 hours.
Yeah, oh my God. I love that people pretend like that is the version we would have gotten in theaters. I'm like, no, they would have
Absolutely not.
They would have forced Zack Snyder to make it 2 hours,
Stupid.
and it would have been bad. Anyway, we've gotten to the end.
This is the end of Fantastic Four. It's over, and we don't have to watch any more Fantastic Four movies, right?
Oh, we got to watch another one. I'm gonna cover it on the monthly wrap up. I'm not giving it its whole episode.
We'll come on for that one.
Huh?
We'll come
You'll
on
call
for
in
that.
for that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So we're at the end here. 4 Fantastic Four movies: the Roger Corman one, the 2 Tim Story ones, and Fant4stick by Josh Trank. Let's go down the line. Riley, what is the worst Fantastic Four movie?
Silver Surfer, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
What?
Yeah, it's a worse movie than because what I see in what Josh is saying is that if that wasn't a Fantastic Four movie, it's a movie. It's some movie. It's 2 movies competing to be one Fantastic Four movie. I like Miles Teller in it. I like the way Victor acts in it.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's like a Fantastic Four movie at all. But I would watch that if it was that Russian Fantastic Four movie where they all have powers.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of fun and cool.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Okay.
I think I could like this movie if it was just not about those characters.
Okay.
But it's a group of 4 super soldiers in an accident, like dimension hopping, that gives them powers.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like in that. But if it was in that like genre of like Chronicle or Jumper, these like non-franchise affiliated superhero indie movies.
Okay.
So there's a good movie in there. The movie's a better movie than Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Really?
I think it doesn't. Fantastic Four,
Well, remember
Rise
when
of the
Mr.
Silver
Fantastic
Surfer?
was dancing with the two hot babes and he
No, all
twirled
that's
up
fine.
into like
It's
a...
the story beats, though. It's that there's not like a clear and obvious like second, third act like build and divide.
Okay.
When you're watching you know how long you have left in the Josh Trank movie because it's film structured. When you're watching
little
Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, there were 2 times where I thought the movie was over, and it wasn't over.
Okay.
And not like when Mint left in the post-credit scene part of the first movie. She had to go to the bathroom before we saw Victor go to Latveria. But when I'm watching that movie, I'm like, it's not as good of a structured movie, you know? But that's because it probably didn't have as much studio interference.
Yeah.
They probably trusted Tim's story
Yeah.
to do whatever he wanted
The first one, yeah.
after the first one.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I do think the worst one, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and obviously it's weighted heavily on Galactus Cloud.
Yeah.
That's a really bad movie thing.
Yeah.
It built up to nothing for the whole 2 hours I didn't enjoy. So,
What's the best one?
2004's Fantastic Four.
The first Tim Story one.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
the
you were going to
best
go
one.
Roger Corman. You were marking out for
It's a really good script.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have, like, once it becomes more obvious that they replaced all of the things that make a film good with that they moved around in the frame.
Yeah.
The blocking's less like, oh, that's cool, they did blocking, and it's more like, oh, all they had was blocking. They don't have costumes. They don't have they don't have
like
props.
when he tested the laser and it was just the stock footage
They don't
of
have
nuclear
props. They
bombs
don't have
that we've seen.
VFX footage. They don't have an esteemed cast.
Yeah.
No one has ever heard of Alex Whitehide. Sorry. But he did great in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just didn't have any of the other things that make a movie watchable.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
best script for sure.
Okay.
Best cast was fantastic for both the Silver Surfer and the 2004 one. And I think the best directing was probably Corman or the Tim Story first one.
Okay. Okay.
The mid ones really for me would be Fantastic and Silver Surfer.
Okay.
I just wouldn't rewatch Fantastic again. And I've never cared to see Silver Surfer before yesterday.
Really? You've never seen it before?
Yeah, I never cared to watch that
Oh,
one.
shit.
So
Okay.
I mean, but it wasn't it didn't mean anything to me that I watched it for the first time either. So
Okay, so worst Silver Surfer.
yeah.
And then best
2004.
Mate, what is the worst Fantastic Four movie?
Fanforstic.
The conventional
Fantastic.
answer.
That's the
I
worst
really
one?
don't like it. I hate how they get their powers. I'm just like, man, Sue's not even there, and then she gets hit with a wave, and it's like, whatever. And then it just is very forgettable.
Yeah.
Too. It's very incredibly mid.
But there's an A-B plot structure, and there's characters that recur. Although the Tim Blake Nelson thing's fun.
Here's the thing, though, with the Silver Surfer one.
Yeah.
I really like how they humanized the Silver Surfer in it.
Well, I mean, that's because he starts off as a villain and becomes a hero, so he has
Yeah.
to humanize, which is why I wanted more of him in that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted a little bit more of him in that, but I like him, and I wanted to learn more about him.
I don't want anything from Fantastic, and there's a lot that Silver Surfer left me wanting, which
Yeah.
is why Silver Surfer's worse.
Yeah. Okay.
Silver
Gotcha.
Surfer is just mid. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like the most forgettable thing ever, and I wasted my time because there's nothing memorable except for the way that they got their powers,
You
which
didn't
is
like when
terrible.
Sue got killed by Doom?
No.
That's the best part of Silver Surfer to me. I'm like, she forgot that the Silver Surfer can lean into her fucking
That was
fields, and so she's like, I'm protecting myself, and then she's like, oh fuck, I'm a woman taking accountability, and then she dies.
Okay, so
And then a man
worst,
saves her.
so worst is Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the best one?
The Roger Corman one. Mainly because
I thought she'd go that way.
I really like how they do
The grooming.
Not that
Big fan of the grooming.
No. The part that I like a lot, and they don't do this for the other ones, is to show how they got their powers and how it relates to their personality.
The scene in the field from the original comic, where they're all talking and
Yeah.
stretching their body around
Yeah.
and thinking about
Yeah.
their powers. Jimmy Neutron, by the way, did the best Fantastic Four.
Really?
They did the In-Men in an episode where they go through a neuron cloud,
Okay.
and they all get powers inversely related to the personalities. Where Jimmy Neutron becomes an orange Hulk-like guy.
That's funny.
And Cindy just turns invisible.
I
and shit
remember
like that.
I remember Batman.
The Inman.
Batman Beyond had an episode where there was like an experiment, and they were basically the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Like one of them was like a lava monster and a water.
Or the Incredibles, I guess. Honorable mention.
Yeah, Incredibles played around with it too.
The Roger Moore one is
Roger Corman. Roger Moore is a different guy.
Yeah.
That's a James Bond. That's why you have that name in your
That's why.
That's okay.
Okay.
She reviewed all the James Bond movies. Go check them out.
Yeah, you should. Also, yeah, Roger Corman. Yeah, it was very weird, especially the jeweler. I didn't quite.
Jeweler.
Yeah.
2 syllables.
That's
jeweler.
jeweler. That's what I said.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't make fun of how people talk on this show.
So yeah, that was weird. I was like, why is there a leprechaun? Is this the leprechaun movies now? But then like, I think it was with the griminess filter. It's not even a filter. I don't know why it looks like that.
No, it just looks like shit because it's not processed.
Yeah,
film.
because we're watching like a reprint of a reprint. Like
that was
it's-
leaked in 1998.
and I like it because it's like it feels like I shouldn't be looking at it, but it
Interesting.
yeah, and it's like
Feels dirty.
It feels dirty, and because the jeweler, he also feels really dirty, being it's enhanced by the effects, and I also really like just it's so funny that scene where Johnny is just like flying in the laser. That's my favorite part of the movie. Is he's just
you
flipping.
mean the laser that we saw? If it hit, it would cause a nuclear bomb. But when it hit him, it just made him spin.
Yeah, he
Like-
spins around.
Yeah, the way to take the threat. Like this laser is gonna kill everyone, but if it hits Johnny Storm, he's just gonna tumble a little bit. It's like,
It's
wait,
so fun.
shouldn't he blow up? What's going on here?
It's just all the
Fire
effects are
doesn't blow up,
comically
Tony.
bad, and because they're
Comically.
comically bad,
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of our weighting, both of ours, and I can't wait to hear your system on this, but ours has been based on like enjoyment of the film, less than like the literal quality that it's managed to hit.
Okay.
Because I can tell with both of us, we're like, we get what they're all trying to do.
the Roger Corman one, it feels
Not
like
one of these succeeded at it.
it feels
None
like
of them.
it's the most like the comics to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. That's what
And
I
she's
like.
only read the first like 3 or 4 issues. She so
fine.
it's like okay, so it's like a really pure.
I think I
comic
have
experience.
I think I have the Luke Cage where he goes to Latveria to get his money back from Doctor Doom. I think I have those over there. Where's my money, honey? They referenced that in the Netflix show. I couldn't believe they did that.
Where's my money?
Okay, so
And yet Moon Knight didn't do that fake image where he's saying, "Hey Dracula, where's my money, you bitch?" or whatever.
Fan 4 stick worse.
Yeah,
It's just because I don't think that was going to be a movie I liked anyway.
sure.
And the fact that I got this Frankenstein together,
And if they weren't called all the same names, like you would still be like, I don't like it.
yeah.
I don't like that they're going on missions and that they're like if it was just a body horror like freak military movie where they
Yeah.
do military missions.
But then I'd be like, that's just like Chronicle, basically. It's
Well,
just
I
like
know
a
that's what they were
different
trying to
Chronicle.
do.
Yeah. So yeah, I just really don't enjoy the movie at all. When it comes to best, this is rough. Because I actually really like the team in Rise of the Silver Surfer. It's just they dropped the ball on the villains. So maybe the first one is a better movie. But I think the one I've seen the most and will continue watching is the Roger Corman one. So I think, man, we got it. Roger Corman best. I mean, maybe the Tim Story one is technically better, but
Tony-
Roger Corman is the best, and Fan 4 Stick is definitely the worst.
Hell yeah.
That's a fantastic ranking.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Riley Reed. That's your new name,
Riley
right
Reed.
now. Yeah. Do you think anyone else has that name? I think no one else uses that name.
No, it's very unique.
Yes.
Where's the residuals at?
The residuals.
Anyway, that is it from us. Let us know what you think is the worst Fantastic Four, or
Unless you're
the best.
wrong. Don't leave a comment if you're wrong.
I do like the Tim Story ones, though. I do think they're fine, other than the villains. Guys, where can we find you? Where can we find both?
YouTube.com/ASE presents.
I do daily reviews. I'm at 1,000, over 1,000.
If you're watching this
daily
right now,
reviews.
we have passed 1,000 daily movie reviews. We're at 999 right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Today. I know I tried to do this on the 1,000th.
What are you going to do?
But yeah, when you see this, I'm past 1,000, so you should definitely check out the YouTube
Because she'll quit
channel.
soon. If you like her reviews, appreciate them now.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this anymore. The streak's over. I have my own life. I make a lot of money, and I don't have to sit around making YouTube videos.
Wait, you do?
So
I heard you don't have talent. You don't do anything.
Yeah. Well,
I've heard that somewhere. I don't agree with it.
I've heard I need to go make a movie and make a comic and stuff. So if you like Mint's movie reviews, you better like them a lot right now because they are a finite resource, young man. I will turn this YouTube channel around. So
autisticboobs.com has all of
that's
my
where you can find
socials.
everything else.
Yeah.
Yes. Go to autisticboobs.com for all the other stuff.
I was thinking, when we do end the daily streak, we're not just going to end in Salad Saw, but we'll probably just do a show like this, where we turn to like an in-person show once a week.
What? Competition?
You and Mint can, Mint will go back over all the movies you've ever reviewed and try to ask your guests on to redo it without
Who
you.
does that? Says guy who just did Superman 4, which I already did on rental reviews. You asshole, who does that?
We're going to do rental reviews.
I stopped calling it that. I stopped calling it that. It's so far removed now. It's like a whole different thing.
So... If you like all the movies he's reviewed, subscribe to her. I'll make her review all the ones you've already seen him do. I get it. You guys just want to watch the same thing over and over. I'm going to give it to you. But with tits. I mean...
Hey, look.
There were tits here.
Asshole. I was in a bunch of Mint Salads reviews, too.
Yeah.
I think the Halloween one is probably the funniest goddamn thing.
It's like iconic.
Although I was super fat in that video.
It was a joke video. It was me editing it, and it became like the format for over 1,000 days of our life.
Every episode that I do admit is hilarious, but the Halloween one is just because people keep asking, like, Tony, why didn't you ever do the original Halloween on your show? I'm like, nah, I got it covered. Here it is.
If you want to see a plump Tony, go to youtube.com/ASC Presents. Go to popular, and
it's her like most
skip
popular
the Star
video.
Wars rant.
Yeah, everybody knows. Whatever. Star Wars is dead. Go to the Halloween one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. And that is it from us. Sign up for Patreon.
Check in on Joey to see if he's okay.
Shit, thank you for reminding me.
Should we Joey see if he's all right?
I totally forgot. Let's cut to Joey C.
You should be Reed Richards because you don't care about your friends.
I don't. Yeah, thank you. I am Reed Richards now.
He wins.
Let's cut to Joey C.
Listen, I gotta make this quick. I burned myself by accident, of course, and the doctors are coming to take me away. 1 second, please. The worst Fantastic Four movie ever is by far Rise of the Silver Surfer. The movie is mediocre at best. The story is convoluted, and they took Galactus, the most menacing, devastating villain in all of Marvel, and turned him into a giant space cloud. What the hell? God damn it, take me away now.
Wow, I can't believe you picked that one.
Whew. Well,
anyway.
Get well soon, man.
Get well soon, Joey C.
And you're buff still. Sorry,
very manly.
Sorry I called you small and not buff earlier. I feel bad about it still.
Yeah.
You have muscles more than me.
But yeah, check me out on Patreon. I have a lot of fun stuff on Patreon. I forget when this comes out, but something big is coming to Patreon soon, but I can't talk about it. Mint Salad was involved with it. So make sure you sign up for that. Even sign up as a free member, because sometimes it'll just upgrade you randomly. It'll test you out. It will let you test out the Patreon. Are you okay? Are you dead?
I'm just leaving. Clip believes these things. I don't wait till the show ends.
What are you, like Morgan Wallen? You're just leaving at the very end? You can't even wait for it to end? All right, yeah.
It's a big deal, Tony.
Whoa, take him back to God's country. Okay, that is it from us. Goodbye, everyone.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.